What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining us here on Tuesday night. It is Tuesday Night Titans, episode 150 for your Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. I'm your host, JD from New York, as always, joined by the one and only, the man I want riding shotgun with me in the dark horse, Solomonster. What's going on, brother?
He only lets me ride shotgun. He never lets me actually drive the dark horse.
You did once. Virtually, at least.
Once. That's right. Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
That's true.
The only thing I will not allow is for you to man the musical playlist.
Why, you don't trust me?
I do and I don't. But I won't bombard you with really, really bad music, like the guttural stuff. I'll put on something that's easy listening for you.
I would just put on some hybrid theory since you're never going to open that CD. I would just bring it up there.
You know, it's funny. It's funny we mentioned music. Did you know? I'm sure you know. Have you back in the day visited Tower Records? Were you a Tower Records guy?
I did.
Did you know that they have a website reinstated on the web that you could buy music, CDs, and vinyls? I didn't know this until like 2 days ago.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was still a thing.
Yeah, apparently they got the website up and running. It's been a thing for like the last 3 or 4 years. I bought some vinyls today, man. I spent like $200 in vinyls. Yeah, like old stuff from like high school.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, all of the Tower Records disappeared. I feel like they were replaced with FYE.
That was another one I frequented.
Yeah, well, that also had like DVDs. It wasn't just music. Sam Ash was another one that I wouldn't say frequented, but we had a couple of Sam Ashes.
I thought that was mostly musical equipment. Sam Ash.
Oh, it is. I'm just thinking of like music related places because in the early years of the podcast, I actually wandered in there. I was looking for. I didn't want to use a desktop stand for the mic anymore because the vibration, I guess it was coming through on the mic.
Yeah.
So I wanted something. I'm like, what if I bought see at the concerts, right? They have the mic stands. What if I bought a mic stand so it sat on the floor and I had a gooseneck and I could just pull it down? I was like rigging up this whole, scenario here. And it wasn't on YouTube at the time. It was audio only, so who cares? And so that was the only time I ever had a need to go into a Sam Ash, but they had all kinds of music equipment in there. I think they're still around. I don't know how popular they are.
There's one in Forest Hills, I think. I don't know if they're still open or not, but I remember going in there. I remember being the guy that always wanted to go there first before anything else, before buying guitar stuff and amps and cables and stuff, but then Guitar Center really kind of caught everybody's eye. It's like, fuck Sam Ash. Just go to Guitar Center.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the deal. Did you see He-Man?
I did.
Is it true that it was as bad as people were saying, that it didn't even break 100 million domestically?
So yes, I mean, in terms of box office, it was a gigantic flop.
Oh no.
Unfortunately. So in its first weekend, it did not even make $30 million domestically.
Wow.
And then I think globally, it did maybe $54 million. But you got to keep in mind that was on a budget of close to $200 million. And so globally, in its first weekend, they didn't even make $55 million. And it's not like it's going to go up. It's not like it's going to be like Obsession, where it's only going to go up every weekend from here. It's probably, and look what's coming out. You got a Spielberg movie coming out this week, which I'm going to be seeing, Disclosure Day. Toy Story's out next week, and people are going, like, the pre-sales for that are crazy. So it was a flop, which is unfortunate. It's crazy because I liked the movie. I thought it was really good. And if you watch the movie, and especially if you stay, there's actually 3 post-credit scenes. Clearly, they were positioning it for a sequel. There ain't going to be a sequel, right? I mean, I don't see how it makes financial sense for there to be a sequel. I would like for there to be, but I can't imagine there's going to be a sequel. But like they had like I don't want to give it away, but like, again, there's a few. If you do see the movie, anybody watching this right now, just make sure you stick around for the credits. Because there is some stuff that happens there. But I was thinking about this, like, I saw some of the statistics on this movie, and I even saw like in the theater I went to, it wasn't very packed, but like a lot of adults. And so apparently 60% of the people who saw this movie were adults. And they said 11% of the people who saw this movie were 17 and under.
That's pretty staggering. I didn't think it was going to end up being that kind of off with the age ranges. I guess this was just strictly a nostalgia flick, and the people of this generation don't realize what He-Man or care what He-Man was, or I don't know.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like clearly it was mostly people who grew up on He-Man, and now at the time they were like 5, and now they're probably 45, right, or early 50s, and so they wanted to go see He-Man. He-Man, first of all, this movie is not marketed as He-Man. The name of the movie, it doesn't even have He-Man in it. It's just Masters of the Universe. So like most people today, like especially kids, like they have no fucking idea what Masters of the Universe is. That doesn't mean anything to them, But I was thinking about this and comparing it to Transformers. When Transformers came out, I want to say that was like 2007, somewhere around then, when Megan Fox was like the shit. And I like the first Transformers movie that came out at that time, like I felt like it didn't just appeal to people who grew up on Transformers in the 80s, right? I felt like they had adapted it enough to where it would appeal to like a more modern audience, and it did big box office, right? It did big numbers, and there was a bunch of other movies that came after it. And so like in this case, that really wasn't the case. It was almost like an homage to the people who remember He-Man being what it was in the 80s. And unless you grew up with it, by the end of the 80s, He-Man was already out. It wasn't like it stood the test of time and it was still a thing in the 90s or the 2000s. It just kind of died out after a few years, and then other things took its place, the Ninja Turtles and the Power Rangers and whatever else. So they're taking a property here that's 45 years old. We're not even talking 80s. We're talking early 80s, right? When He-Man was a thing. It just doesn't have any juice. I mean, that's really the story that it tells a very clear story here, these numbers.
It's amazing how that didn't stand the test of time, but the Turtles did. I mean, there's new Turtle shit every other year, it feels like. So, I don't know.
So it's too bad. Again, I thought the action, honestly, having seen the Mortal Kombat sequel last month, the action in this movie was on par with that. Like there were some really good action scenes in the movie. It's campy and cringy at times, but like but so was He-Man. I thought that like visually it looked great. I will say, Jared Leto, I'm not like a big Jared Leto fan. His portrayal of Skeletor, I thought Skeletor was great in the movie. Like looks great, sounds great. If you didn't know Jared Leto was in the movie, you would never know. They don't show him. But at least Skeletor was awesome. I was wondering how that would come off, and I thought that was great. So I enjoyed it. I mean, maybe it's not going to make a lot of money, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
I guess I'll be watching it relatively soon as it hits streaming platforms in the home. So
yes.
no need to rush to the movie theater if it's going to be bounced in 2 weeks.
It will not. I don't suspect it will be in the theaters for very long. But again, especially with some of these movies that are coming out in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to kind of get and Obsession and Backrooms are still doing big business.
You gotta go out, bro. You gotta go out and watch this coming attraction before we get into the news here. There was a trailer today about this movie.
Okay. I was going to bring something up. I wonder if it's the same thing that you're about to bring
this
up.
fucking whale movie with the swimmer, with the diver being eaten by the whale, and he has to fight his way out of the whale. Bro, I'm like, the comment section were hilarious. They're like, "Why did you give this away? It's the best part of the movie." I'm like, I could see why, because it's the beginning of how his journey starts. So
apparently it's based on a book, which I wasn't aware of, and I know Josh Brolin is in the movie.
Yes.
And I guess the premise of the movie is that this kid, whatever, is a scuba diver, and he goes into the sea to try to find his father's remains, and so he gets swallowed. I mean, you saw the trailer.
Yeah.
It's intense, and he gets swallowed by a sperm whale, and I guess that's what it is. It's a sperm whale. And he only has enough oxygen for an hour.
Yeah.
He has an hour to fight his way out of this whale, I guess. And like, if you see the trailer, like it's crazy. And it actually, I had no idea this movie even existed. And now it comes out in October. I'm like, I may have to see this.
I was very intrigued by this.
Yeah, called Whale Fall.
Yes, Whale Fall. Yeah, I mean, the movies have been going crazy this year. It's like movies and games. All of a sudden, man, just a spurt of movies coming out that are really good and video games coming out. So we got some things to look forward to, which is good.
Oh, yeah.
Not wrestling. I mean, there's nothing that we're looking forward to as far as professional wrestling.
We're talking with such great enthusiasm and excitement about all things not wrestling right now. But
it's fucking crazy.
It's kind of the way it goes sometimes.
But yes, we'll get into the news here. We got not really a loaded show for you, but we got some great discussion lined up. King, Queen of the Ring. Obviously, we got some notable eliminations the last week or so. So we'll talk about that. Talk about the Judgment Day owning this tournament, if that's good or bad. We got news on Nick Khan, which I know Jason and I respectively talked about on our own. It'll be fun to talk about it here. I mean, it's just another multi-billionaire and his lies. So there's nothing that he said was anywhere close to the truth, Nick Khan, at all.
Well, I don't know that he's a multi-billionaire, but
well, he works for a multi-billionaire company.
He works for them.
Let me rephrase that. Yeah. He's a millionaire. Multi-millionaire. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll talk about Nick Khan's lies. Vince McMahon was in the news. Another Vince McMahon problem that's settled by throwing money at it. So we'll talk about that. Not surprised there. And we got some Dynamite news, some AEW news. Mercedes returned to Dynamite. MJF is injured, hopefully not too badly. And the news on Mick Foley seems to be steamrolling going into All In. So we'll talk about that. We got some TNA news in regards to Mike Santana and Steve Macklin leaving the company. Macklin's already gone. Santana reportedly on his way out. So we'll talk about that right here on TNT. 150 episodes. Just want to say thank you guys for all the support. I want to thank Jason as always. This is the best night of the week for me because I get to sit back, relax, and just kind of give you guys, you know, the real version of myself. I know I'm a little over the top sometimes on my show, what I do, but again, I would rather have nobody sitting next to me than this guy here, and I really appreciate all the support. And, you know, we talked about this several times. This show means a lot to me, and it just goes to show you that we love what we do, and it's fun. And I know a lot of creators kind of fizzle out. They lose vision. There's a lot of people in the community trying to do the same thing everybody else is doing, and it just falls flat. It goes to show you the testament of consistency. And I'm really proud of what we've done here. And I'm proud of what we've both done respectively on our own for so long. Jason's been doing it twice as long as me. So that's even a bigger testament to how to do things. But again, just want to say thank you guys. So it means a lot to me. You know?
Yeah, I co-sign everything that you just said. And, you know, I thank you for bringing me aboard here. I mean, I think we were pretty excited about it when we first talked about it. We kind of knew, I think, that this was going to be something special. And obviously, you know, there's a lot of overlap between the two audiences, but also a lot of people that have kind of come on over from, you know, OTS and probably vice versa, who have maybe never were exposed to the other person's content before. And so that's always cool to see. But like you said, it's crazy. Like you can only imagine how many people, and it doesn't have to be wrestling, but just start a podcast any given day, right? There's thousands of them that start, and after one episode, they're done.
Yeah.
That's it. They lose interest, or there's no audience for it, or they just don't know what they're doing. And it's hard, you know, especially these days. Like when I started, there were not nearly as many podcasts as there are now, not even counting the YouTube stuff. It could be hard to break through. And so when you're able to kind of cultivate an audience, however big or small it may be, that sticks with you and that's loyal to you, and they genuinely enjoy what it is that you do, that's special. And so the fact that we're able to do this, and it's 150, here's to 150 more, I say.
There you go. I love it. Thank you guys very much for all the support. We're going to keep the ball rolling. If you guys want to follow Jason, find Jason wherever he may be. Link is down below in the description for everything that he has. Twitter, YouTube, all that. So make sure you guys go and check that out. He's also got the Uncrowned podcast, which he uploaded again today. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, it went live a couple of hours ago, I believe. Brand new episode of the Uncrowned Wrestling Show, which was good because there was stuff I was able to cover on there, including some TNA stuff that broke, of course, as literally 10 minutes after I uploaded the sound off on Sunday, the TNA stuff broke. And then I had people saying, you know, how come you didn't cover the TNA stuff? I'm like, I'm not a magician. You know, I'm not like Danhausen where I could just put a curse and it works. Like my magical powers only extend so far. I can't predict the future, but that's the beauty of having Uncrowned is we can cover some other stuff that we don't get to on Sunday. So
maybe Danhausen's got to curse the fucking referees. I watched a full-fledged NBA game from quarter 1 to quarter 4. I didn't realize the referees in the NBA were as bad as the referees or the umpires in baseball.
Oh, they're on the page.
Holy shit.
Oh, they're on they're on like Kalshi and all these friggin' apps, like placing bets. Give me a break.
Oh, like what the fuck, man? It's like linebacker like shoulders. Like, where's the fucking foul, man? What's going on here? I don't know.
It's like those heel referees where it's like, oh, I got something in my eye. I didn't see it. Yeah, it's one of those things.
I don't know. Hopefully they bounce back tomorrow because I can't imagine spending that amount of money and then watching them lose in that manner. But hopefully they'll take the game tomorrow and go up 3-1. If you guys want to go follow Jason, again, in the description below, go find him. Hit that thumbs up down below. Let's try and get to 1,000 likes tonight. Helps us out tremendously. Super chats are open. Best way to support the show here. You guys can go buy a t-shirt as well. You should see the shop underneath the video player that you're watching us from tonight. So go get yourself a new t-shirt. And we will not be talking about the CM Punk stuff. I see some people in the comment section. I don't know what the CM Punk news is. Sap said he'll put something out tomorrow in regards to CM Punk. It's all rumor. So I don't want to dive into something that we don't have news on yet.
I got the sense he was being kind of facetious about it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we'll talk about all this, all these rumors and all the nonsense that's being spread online. It's just people who I think it probably started with one person on social media.
Yeah, of course.
And took on a life of its own because Punk has not been seen since WrestleMania other than at the gym. And I'm not even sure at this point if that's fucking AI or if those were even real photos. I don't know what to believe anymore. So like,
don't ask Ryan Nemeth. He'll give you a different answer.
Yeah, I fully expect CM Punk's going to show up on TV and he's going to look exactly the same as he looked the last time we saw him. But I think it's just people trying to come up with reasons why he hasn't been on TV. You know, oh, he's being punished for the hotel incident in Vegas, or he's being punished for this or that. Like, there's nothing to it. As far as we know, there's nothing to any of that.
See, when I tell you guys, I knew he was going to break down. I knew he was going to be a troublemaker.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, right now it's much ado about nothing until it gets reported by an actual reputable source.
We'll dive into that sometime this week, so look out for that. And also, House of Glory, we got a show coming up very soon. Just a quick note, this is on June 19th. We got Chicago coming up at Logan Square Auditorium, HOG Inferno. Got a couple of matches announced, what I know of. Maybe Jason knows what else might have been added. I know we got Mustafa Ali versus Rich Swann. We got Amazing Red versus Ricky Sosa. I'm sorry.
And that will be for Ali's TNA International Championship.
There you go. And then we got Shotzi, the hardest working woman on the Indies, defending the HOG Women's title against Steph DeLander. Did they add anything else to the show that I don't know of?
Well, first time ever, we got Ricky Sosa and the Amazing Red.
Yes. Should be a good one.
One-on-one.
Bang, bang.
You saved the best for last. So that's one that should be very fun to call. And there'll be more things announced. The show is virtually sold out. Not totally yet, but it'll get there. So if you want to be there live or just want to stop by and say hello, the two of us will be there in Chicago on the 19th, which of course...
Yes.
Of course. They're doing a WWE Championship match on SmackDown that night. Did you know this, JD?
Of course I did. Unfortunately, we watched Friday night.
Do you remember the last time they did a WWE Championship match on SmackDown?
Yes. And Cody won the championship back from Drew McIntyre.
And we were in Chicago that night.
I know. Yes,
funny enough. Yes, but that's where we will be on the 19th. And also, just so people know, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, tickets go on sale for our biggest event of the summer, High Intensity, which is coming to the NYC Arena Friday night, August 7th. And tickets go on sale tomorrow at 1. So just be aware of that. HOGwrestling.net.
Don't miss that show. It's the best show we do all year. I'm telling you right now. All right, my friend, let's get into it. I give you the ball as always. What do you want to talk about?
Well, we should probably bring up the Money in the Bank thing. Because that was a story the other day. I shake my head. You know, I'm looking at this and I'm like, wait a minute. It feels like deja vu. Wasn't this moved previously? And the answer is yes. Money in the Bank, the date has changed yet again. So for those who don't remember, First of all, Money in the Bank this year is going to be as late as it has ever been. Normally,
which is very weird.
It is very weird. Normally it's June or July. It was going to be in August. August 29th was the original date for Money in the Bank. And then they moved it back by a week to Labor Day weekend. They moved it from a Saturday to a Sunday, September 6th. Again, still in New Orleans. This is the make good, by the way, for the WrestleMania that was taken away from them this year.
Oh,
we'll give you Money in the Bank. So they were going to do it on September 6th. And then all of a sudden this week, the news broke that Money in the Bank has moved yet again. So even though tickets were not on sale, I sure hope people didn't make early travel plans or book flights for this show, because now Money in the Bank will be back on Saturday. So that might make some of you happy. October 10th at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. That is I can't say final date. That's the current new date for Money in the Bank now.
So apparently there was a big scheduling conflict. There was other big events surrounding that in September that WWE did not want to compete against. So they moved it to October.
But why book that date in the first place?
I don't know.
Did they not do their due diligence and know that there were other events going on that weekend before they publicly announced it for September 6th?
Well, you see, Triple H's ChatGPT subscription is only running on the free service. He didn't upgrade.
Ah, I see. It's the free trial tier.
Yes, so that's probably what happened there.
TKO didn't want to spend the money on the full subscription.
No, they did not. That's exactly what I figured happened, because Mark Shapiro did say that they use AI to formulate routes and cities and all these analytics and what towns to go to. So I'm assuming that was the case there. September 5th, in its place, they are putting Saturday night. It says here, Wrestling Geek says September 5th. I guess they got it wrong. September 6th, I guess. Saturday night's main event is coming to Atlanta at the State Farm Arena. So they are replacing Money in the Bank from that date with Saturday night's main event. And I believe there was a report, we didn't get anything announced formally by the company, Jason, that WrestlePalooza will be happening probably in September, just like it did last year. And I saw our friend Andrew Baydala say that he wouldn't be surprised if it actually takes place in Indianapolis again, just like it did last year.
Learning from the Vegas example, I see. Let's just, like Jey Uso, let's just run it back. Yeah, I mean, look, if you listen to the comments that Mark Shapiro made last year, they want to turn WrestlePalooza into like an annual franchise for them. So I'm not surprised they're going to bring it back. I don't think they've formally made any sort of announcement yet, but it sounds like it's coming very soon. But you forgot to mention, September 6th is a Sunday. So if you notice, when they advertised it last night, they just crossed out the Saturday and they literally wrote in Sunday above the logo. So it is technically Sunday night's main event.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yes.
A little attention to detail there. Okay. Maybe if they do WrestlePalooza this year from Indianapolis, it won't get a C-. They'll probably get a B-. Maybe they can move up a grade.
Well, it's not going to get anything because ESPN is not allowing him apparently to use letter grades anymore for his reviews.
Bad. Andres Hell. Can't do it. Anyway, I guess we'll stick with the WWE stuff. Friday Night SmackDown.
Well, before we move on, I mean, look, Money in the Bank, let's just throw it out there. It's June 9th. Early predictions. I mean, I'll give you mine. On the men's side, I think we've talked about this, just based on the comments that he made to Cody Rhodes. Are we in agreement that early favorite for men's Money in the Bank, CM Punk?
Yes. I'm sticking with that.
Remember what he said, like, you never know. My championship opportunity might fall right out of the sky. I don't know what else he would mean by that. And then on the women's side, I made a prediction on my show at the beginning of the year for Roxanne Perez, not realizing that this was going to be delayed by so much. I'll stick with it. I feel comfortable picking her as my early prediction for women's Money in the Bank.
You think Liv Morgan's going to hold the championship up until that point, past October?
She may not, but I still feel like Roxanne has a chance to win the briefcase either way.
Yeah, it's tough to not pick Roxanne. You got the influx of talent. Blake Monroe is going to be up. Hopefully she gets some TV time between now and then. JC Jane. So the Money in the Bank match, especially on the women's side, is going to be it's going to be very interesting. So I'm sticking with Punk, though. I think that's the most interesting of all the scenarios because I've been asking for the last 2 years, Punk and Cody at WrestleMania. Maybe that happens next year. Speaking of Cody, his show on Friday nights wasn't egregiously bad like it usually is. I guess the overseas crowd in Bologna actually kind of helped that. But still, not a show that I want to watch for 3 hours. I guess we'll start at the top, Jason. Gunther comes on out, and we all knew that Gunther was going to have something to say after the bullshit way he lost that Clash in Italy. And there's just a troublesome situation with Cody and all the people that he feuds with, all the heels that he feuds with. They all very much mirror each other, Jason. It's like Kevin Owens did it. Drew McIntyre did it. Now Gunther's doing it. There's always a referee problem in each of the situations that Cody is dealing with when he's battling a heel. Gunther had the referee miss the boot underneath the rope. Drew McIntyre, he went on a crusade claiming that Cody's the golden boy and has everything handed to him. Kevin Owens did the same thing. It's just very, very same old shit. And this is why I feel Cody Rhodes is A, getting very boring, B, why people are asking for Cody to turn heel, and why the interest in the overall product on the world title scene for both shows isn't really where it needs to be. What do you make of Cody's situation here with all the heels that he's going through feeling the same?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a formula. If you just look at it, there's a formula, there's a playbook here. They don't like to deviate from it, and so it makes things very samey. You know, it's very boring, it's very predictable. And I'll say this too. Look, I love Gunther, but boy, has he lost a lot of that aura since the beginning of the year.
Yeah, he had final boss aura, and now he doesn't have. And now he's like second boss aura.
Not even. Whatever would be the level below that. You know, he's pick your appropriate character from Goodfellas or The Sopranos. He's not Tony. Let's see. You've never seen The Sopranos. I mean, which I still can't believe.
Now, someone super chatted us saying, "What comes first, JD watching The Sopranos or GTA 6?" GTA
Probably
6 at this point.
Yeah, GTA 6. GTA 6. So he's not Tony. He's like Paulie, all right, or something like that. I mean, whatever aura he had at the beginning of the year. And first of all, they did a good job of kind of knocking it down a few notches by him disappearing off television for like a month in the lead up to WrestleMania this year. That didn't help. But yeah, it's like, man, it just doesn't feel... And he lost, too. So, yes, controversial, but nonetheless, he lost. So now Gunther just feels like another guy. And I'll be honest with you, they did this angle where he at least came out. He was really angry, as he should be. And so I like that. And then he's telling Nick Aldis, like, you'll be hearing from my lawyers. And then Aldis tells Cody, yeah, I heard from Gunther's lawyers. And so he's going to get his title match. It's going to be on June 19th. But next week, this coming Friday, he'll be able to choose the stipulation. I guess maybe because that's like a make good to him for what happened to him, so he gets to pick the stip. And then the following Friday, they're going to have the title match. I like sitting here right now, it doesn't feel to me like he's getting the belt there either.
No, of course not.
It feels to me like because that's only 8 days out from Night of Champions. And it feels to me like we're heading towards a triple threat match, and they're going to toss Sami Zayn in there.
I feel the same way. Gunther's not winning the championship. No reason to take the belt off Cody so soon before the pay-per-view. I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I don't know how you feel about this. I said this on Friday, and I said this with Coachman today. I don't know what WWE's got planned, but I'm desperately hoping for some change on Friday night. I think Cody is just sleep-inducing at this point as champion, and the feuds just don't do anything for me as far as interest. I'm belting Sami Zayn at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. I don't know how you feel about that, but a month... I would say 4 or 5 weeks of a Sami Zayn run as WWE champion. I mean, it can't hurt, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it because he was very blah. He was very boring and vanilla. He didn't really have much of a story a few months ago, and now he's in an interesting place now where he thinks he's this righteous person, and people are booing him, and the fans are turning against him. So he's at least more interesting now than he was, 4 or 5 months ago. I don't know if I would do it at Night of Champions. I might even do it at SummerSlam, honestly, instead of doing it at Night of Champions. But you could do that, and I wouldn't hate it. My other thought on Sami, and we'll get into the King of the Ring stuff. I'm not fully convinced that the winner, the person who eventually goes on to win the King of the Ring, is even in the tournament right now. And so I still leave open the possibility there could be some fuckery when it comes to the finals, and they could end up, somebody could get taken out, somebody else gets slotted in there.
You think that the winner of the King of the Ring tournament is not in the tournament as of right now?
I think it's a possibility.
Why do you think that?
because number one, they're clearly trying very hard to make things very unpredictable. Number one,
Which I don't think is a good unpredictable.
and the other thing is there are some big names that are missing, and I don't know that they're necessarily going to be left out of the conversation when it comes to SummerSlam. And those two names that I'm coming back to are Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. But I feel like you could potentially throw Sami Zayn in there. Could we end up with a situation where we get King Sami? I can't rule it out. And that's how you get Sami and Cody at SummerSlam if that ends up being the title match. Now, that's kind of a bold prediction there, but
I'll take it. I'll take it, man.
We're talking about we're talking about the possibility of Sami getting the belt. That's one way to go about doing it.
Bro, I don't give a fuck how we get there. If that's what it takes to make the show interesting, God forbid we get Jey Uso winning the tournament and challenging Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. Can you imagine?
I can, but I don't realistically, I can't see that. I can't see it. I just can't
With this administration, you can't see it.
So Bloodline in both title matches
Yes.
at SummerSlam.
I mean, I feel for the LA Knight fan base. They think that he's going to wrestle Roman Reigns in SummerSlam for the WWE World Heavyweight title. I mean, bro, I said this to Coach today. If that happens, I swear on everything I own, I'll show up the following week and wear a Mets hat all week on stream. If that happens. If he wrestles Roman Reigns and beats Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight title.
Now that would be quite the sight. That would be an all-timer if that happened.
Can you imagine? I don't know, man. I don't know what this tournament.
Well, so we're in agreement that I think both of us are a lot more open now to the idea of Sami as a world champion than we probably were a few months ago, where I think both of us were like, I'm over it.
Yeah. I think he's the most intriguing character on the show right now.
Right now, yeah. Right. And so that's how quickly things can change, right? Because that didn't happen overnight per se, but like it happened very quickly. And yeah, I mean, he is the most intriguing character on the show. There's nothing intriguing about Cody, and there's nothing intriguing at the moment about really anybody else on that show. So anyway, but I just don't get the sense that Gunther is going to win on the 19th either. But it's like, well, how do you do that finish, right? Would they really have Cody just beat him straight up? I sure as fuck hope not. But maybe Sami gets involved, and that's how we get a triple threat. So again, I'm a little unsure of how they get there, but I'm not feeling a Gunther title win is coming up on the 19th. I feel pretty safe in saying that, especially 8 days out from Night of Champions.
Yeah.
Why would you do a title change on that show? It doesn't make any sense. We know Roman Reigns is not going to be in Riyadh. They came out with the poster for this show. Cody's front and center. That's going to be the big title match, whatever it is. That's going to be the big title match on that show. If you were going to do anything, you do it there. You don't do it on a random SmackDown.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think the stipulation is going to be? Submission match? What could it be to make it interesting? I mean, we've seen
Cody doesn't have any submission moves, though.
No. Well, maybe that could be used to Gunther's advantage. Maybe Gunther knows he could tap him out with the sleeper, pass him out with the sleeper, and Cody's got nothing.
Well, then Gunther has to win, dude, because if you're going to do a submission match and the only way it could end is by submission.
Oh, Cody's got the figure four. I don't know. But Sami's going to interfere anyway, so it's going to be whatever.
But if, I'm saying if you make it a submission match, it can only end by submission.
What do we do then? Falls count anywhere?
Don't do a submission match. How's that for a suggestion? You could do almost any other stipulation. Look, he got screwed because his foot was under the rope and the referee didn't see. So having some sort of, I mean,
you know what would be interesting? Maybe I don't know. He appoints his own referee. Maybe Sami's the referee.
Yeah, but he was brawling with Sami. Why would Gunther want Sami?
Well, I mean, the last
referee?
thing that we saw was him and Cody kind of like, all right, you dove on me. Did you do it on purpose? Did you?
Yeah,
did
but
you not?
Gunther was not a fan of Sami's on Friday. To me, that wouldn't make any sense. You know, to me, you could do it, but to me, why would Gunther want Sami Zayn to be the referee for that match? I mean, he knows that him and Cody aren't getting along, true, but I don't get the sense that he gets along very well with Sami either. But you could do it. You could do it. That's a possibility. It's better than a submission match. Yeah. I don't want to see a submission match.
We will see. Again, I agree with what Jason's saying. I think Sami Zayn, Gunther, and Cody are headed for a triple threat match of Night of Champions. And I am not going to be afraid to belt Sami Zayn, at least right now. I think if there's one opportunity to give him a world championship for the first time, this would be it. I think Cody is incredibly boring at the top on Friday night. Women's Queen of the Ring. We got Raquel Rodriguez, JC Jane, Kiana James, and Bayley. This was the quarterfinal match for the night. Raquel Rodriguez ended up getting the victory. Were you surprised, Jason, to see JC Jane bounce from this match? Because I know a lot of people, just because she's new and they really put a lot of focus on her and Fatal Influence as soon as they arrived on SmackDown. Were you surprised to see her bounce and Raquel win?
No.
No? Okay.
No. I was kind of pulling for a JC win, but was I surprised? No. They're going all in on the Judgment Day, dude. We got Liv, we got Raquel, we got Dom.
I don't like it. I don't like
this
it.
is all Judgment Day.
I think it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it either. And Io and Raquel, they have history from earlier this year. To me, it's kind of been there, done that, but they at least have some history. I think Raquel beat her last time, which gives me hope that Io will beat her this time and then go to the finals. Anything else to me is just ridiculous. So not the outcome I was hoping for, but am I surprised? No. No, I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Liv won her match on Monday. Becky was in there. I thought Becky might have squeezed out a victory there because Becky's now lost the IC title.
Yeah, I thought Alexa was going to get it.
Yeah, that too.
Alexa got the biggest reaction coming out of anybody in that match.
Alexa Charlotte would have been a great way to go, though I don't think their tension or whatever may come of that needs the tournament. Becky and Charlotte, I thought that would have been a fine semifinal match. The problem I have with this Judgment Day nonsense in the tournament, and I don't know how anybody else feels, I just feel like all of this could be done outside the tournament. And Liv doesn't really need to be in the tournament because the tournament should be used to find an opponent for Liv Morgan, which right now there are 0. And I feel like the tournament is a tournament to find the future of the company and use to kind of skyrocket somebody to that next level.
Nah. I mean, you could say that maybe you want it to be used that way. Traditionally, that's not what King of the Ring is used for. I mean, Cody won King of the Ring last year. So, I mean, you kind of know what WWE is probably going to use it for before the tournament even begins. There are times over the years where they've tried to use it to launch somebody, but by and large, that's not really what WWE uses the tournament for. So you just got to keep that in mind. I mean, it sounds all nice and good. Let's elevate somebody, but that's not really what King of the Ring traditionally is.
Yeah, but you got three Judgment Day members just kind of advancing in the tournament. I think one is all right, but 3. Now we're looking at a situation where there is a real possibility that Raquel and Liv Morgan could meet in the finals, and then that plays out in Saudi Arabia, and then Dominic Mysterio, which we'll talk about because people are saying that Dominic is going to end up advancing past Oba Femi. How?
How? Because of Brock Lesnar. That's the only way. That's the only way. I'm not saying I'm not even saying I think that's going to happen, but if Dom were to squeak by, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked because everybody's going to be thinking, man, this guy's going to get smashed. And they know that. They know that people are like, oh, man, of course, it's going to be so lopsided. Oba's going to kill this guy. So let's shock him. And we'll have Brock show up because he called Brock a bitch on the show last night. Now at least Brock has a reason to want to fuck this guy out of the tournament. And then the beneficiary of that would be Dom. And he kind of slinks away. I wouldn't be a fan of that because you're just giving away the winner of the final. I mean, whoever he wrestles in the finals, you're just giving the winner away. So could he win on Monday? Sure. There's no reason to be shocked. There's a very simple, easy way that Dom could win, and his name is Brock Lesnar.
Not by pin though. It's got to be a count out, right?
I could. You know what though?
Please don't tell me you see Dominic pinning over Femi.
I don't, but I do not put anything past this administration. That Brock would lay him out and Dom would just sort of crawl over and get the pin. I sure as fuck hope not, but sure, I could see that.
If that happens, now we've been wrong so far in this tournament because the finals that I thought were going to happen, the winner is now gone. Now Oba Femi remains. If Dominic does advance to the final, is there a possibility that Finn Balor meets Dominic in the final?
Yes. And I actually talked about this on my review yesterday. I want to point something out to you.
There really is nobody left after Oba, though.
But I want to point something out to you. And the reason why you cannot discount the possibility of Balor moving on. We're talking about the King of the Ring tournament. We're talking about the Queen of the Ring tournament. The common thread here is that every single person that is advanced is from Monday Night Raw. SmackDown has been utterly buried in these tournaments so far. Not one SmackDown person has advanced to the semifinals. And so I look at this one match we have left on Friday, and it's Balor, Royce Keys, Jey Uso, and LA Knight. It has to be a SmackDown person. They cannot have Jey Uso or LA Knight win. It has to be someone from SmackDown. You are just burying SmackDown 6 feet under if they don't at least have one person who makes it into the next round. And that leaves Royce Keys or Finn Balor. And it could be either one of them. But Balor's the one who they're saying, oh, he's making his debut, his SmackDown debut on Friday. If they don't want to beat him in his SmackDown debut, then he needs to win. And then you would end up with Balor against, I guess, Javon would be the match in the semifinals. Very possible. But it has to be a SmackDown person. Dude, like, SmackDown is dying in these tournaments.
Who cares?
I would think that the people on SmackDown would care.
They clearly don't care about the weekly show.
Oh, I'm not saying they don't give a shit, but I'm just saying, like, my God, like, you can
all right, so
acknowledge this.
listen, you make a lot of sense. And Balor advancing to wrestle Javon Evans, you would think that Balor advances. Dominic, we'll see what happens with Brock Lesnar. Outside Oba Femi winning this tournament, I don't look at anybody else in this tournament that's going to give you a proper, real, big-time main event for SummerSlam. So you mean to tell me if Balor and Dominic is your final, theoretically, and Balor wins, we're gonna look at Balor versus Roman or Balor versus Cody for the WWE Championship, World Heavyweight Championship?
Well, I didn't say Balor's going to win. I'm just that's why I floated the idea before that we could end up with a situation where somebody gets taken out before the final match and has to be replaced, and then we get a bigger name, and that person goes on to win. That's why you have to leave that open as a possibility, because none of these other names make sense.
The fucking tournament then,
because look, the easy thing to do. The easy thing to do would be, oh, gee, we have Oba Femi, who's only the most over guy in the entire company. Did you fucking see and hear the reaction he got
I legitimately
night?
got chills watching the show last night.
I mean, that was a megastar reaction. The easiest thing to do, the path of least resistance, is just, gee, I don't know, have Oba Femi win and then go on to wrestle for the World Championship at SummerSlam. But they've already established we're clearly getting a third match with him and Brock. They're not leaving Brock off the fucking Minnesota SummerSlam. And there's nobody else for him to wrestle on that show that makes any sense except Oba Femi. So, of course, we're going to get the rematch on that show. So, Oba probably can't win the tournament. Somebody else is going to probably win this thing. Seth Rollins is out. All the other big names, there are no other big names in there. Royce Keys, God bless him. Like Cody Rhodes against Royce Keys as your WWE title.
All right. Well, how do you take out somebody that's advanced to the finals? How do you slot that person in there in the tournament?
Well, the person who would advance, the idea is that they would be taken out somehow. They would be medically unable to continue, and the GM or GMs, whatever, they have to huddle to come up with a plan B here. Now, logically, you would think that would mean, okay, the person maybe that lost to that person in the previous round would get slotted in there. But I look at some of these names, it's like, who are you going to put in there? Javon Evans now is suddenly in the finals. No, they're going to want to put a big name in there. And it's WWE, so it doesn't really have to make any sense now, does it? So I'm just saying, Drew McIntyre, he's done filming. He's ready to come back. Randy Orton, I don't know if he's legitimately still hurt or if they're holding him out for a big moment. CM, we haven't talked about Punk. Could you imagine CM Punk shows up and he wins the King of the Ring and challenges Cody at SummerSlam? How fucking great would that be?
Oh, I mean, it would make a mockery of the entire tournament and waste of my time, but I don't mind the match.
But I wouldn't mind the outcome if that's what we got. But they're trying so hard to be unpredictable with this tournament. I'm just saying, you cannot discount the possibility that the person who ultimately wins this thing, maybe they're not even in it right now.
And that's the problem. They're trying way too hard. I feel like they're just...
Well, I didn't like Dominic winning on Friday. I appreciated them trying to, wow, this is the shocking outcome here. I didn't like that. I did, and maybe you didn't. I did like what they did last night with Javon. I felt differently about that than I did about the Dom thing on Friday, but they're trying very hard to try to be unpredictable. And at least in terms of what they did last night, I liked it. I could appreciate that because a lot of people do complain about the fact that, man, everything is so fucking predictable on these shows. Like, you can picture this whole tournament from soup to nuts, start to finish, before we even have the first round match. And you can't say that about the King of the Ring this year. And the people certainly look like they enjoyed seeing Javon pick up the win last night on Raw. So I didn't mind that. Dom, to me, moving on to that next round over Bron Breakker, when we could have had an Oba Femi Bron Breakker semifinal match.
That's the problem.
Just like they're afraid.
Yes.
They're afraid to give us some legitimately like big matches.
I don't know what the problem, why they're afraid to do that. It's like ripping the Band-Aid off, or like me at the Dark Horse. I told Jason months ago, like, it took me forever to rip off that plastic seal on the fucking LED boards in the fucking car. Like, just rip it off. Just rip it off. Like, give us a taste of what the future is going to be here in the present. Why don't they do that? Why are they so afraid to give that type of match away on national television in the King of the Ring tournament where it would actually mean something?
I don't know. And they shouldn't be, because if we got Oba Femi and Bron Breakker in a 12 or 15 minute semifinal round King of the Ring match, it's not going to, realistically, it's not going to take away from these two eventually having a big PLE match or a WrestleMania match one day, right? So just make the tournament feel that much more special by giving us a big match. Like, holy shit, we got Oba and Bron, right? The two guys that have been tabbed as like the future of this company. And it's not even the finals, man. They're going to meet in the semifinals. And that's like a real attraction now all of a sudden in the King of the Ring. But I don't get the sense that they really care all that much about giving away an attraction like that in a TV tournament match. So it's like, we don't want to beat Bron Breakker against Oba. We certainly don't want to beat Oba against Bron. One of them has to win. So we don't want to do the match. And it's like, all right, well, that'd be a hell of a lot more interesting to me than Oba Femi and Dom, where the whole point of it is, how is Dom going to be able to survive? How is he going to cheat? Or how much Judgment Day interference are we going to get, right? In this, I mean, there's really only one other person, I guess, who could interfere, because JD McDonough is the only male member left of the Judgment Day. That's why I say it's all about Brock. Is Brock going to show up, or is Brock going to wait, let's say, until the finals? Are they going to fly him to Riyadh and then wait until that very last match and let Oba have a match on the Night of Champions card and bounce him out of the finals that way? That's the only question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure when we see Brock.
I don't know. Would Brock want to fly over to Saudi Arabia for 3 minutes of in-ring action to sell a match for SummerSlam?
The check is the same either way.
I guess so. My problem with Bron Breakker losing on Friday is that he just lost to Rollins. So having him kind of diminished in back-to-back outings is like, come on, man. Like,
well, that's what shocked me. I was like, man, he lost a great match with Rollins, but he lost, and this would be a great way for him to redeem himself, and surely he'll at least make it to the next round. And then it's like, well, Dominic Mysterio is going to go. And I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing here. They really want to lean in to this King Dom, Queen Liv narrative. And they want to keep this going for as long as possible until ultimately both of them get bounced, because neither one of them are winning. But I think that's the whole point. They want the King Dom, Queen Liv thing to live on for a few more weeks. And that's why they did it.
Yeah, I was upset that Rollins lost. I was hoping for a Rollins Breakker, just one more match, end it. That would be the third match. Rollins goes to get Reigns at SummerSlam. I still think we're going to get Rollins and Reigns at SummerSlam, because that's the only thing that makes sense coming out of Monday Night Raw. But what I'm afraid of is now Rollins is back in the Vision Vortex. Braun cost him the match last night. And someone floated the idea around me in my chat saying, JD, is Angelo Dawkins hurt? I don't know if Angelo Dawkins is hurt. I thought, I didn't hear anything about him being hurt. I thought he was just out selling the storyline injury for what happened. Someone floated the idea around that Montez and Rollins versus Breakker in theory for the tag team titles. I'm like, that would be fucking terrible. I hope that they don't go that road for Rollins, because I figured they'd have one more match. Is that the way that they do it, or did they get really one more match out of it one-on-one?
No, I haven't thought about that tag scenario. I think we get Breakker and actually, what would make sense is if Breakker and Rollins, and I mean, this could be Night of Champions, or this could be Saturday night's main event next month, but you make that a number one contenders match. So if the winner of the King of the Ring chooses Cody, you've got to decide on who gets Roman, and I could see Rollins and Breakker being a number one contenders match, and the winner of that match gets Roman at SummerSlam.
I like that. Yeah, I still think we're sticking with Rollins and Reigns. I mean, he's mentioned Reigns now twice as of last night, so It would be foolish for them not to do it. Just get it over with. That's something that I don't want to see happen at WrestleMania. That was rumored this year, so SummerSlam is the perfect place for that. But yeah, the King of the Ring tournament, I mean, they turned everything upside down. They're trying really hard to make it unpredictable. Some of it's good. To me, most of it is not. I think they went a little too hard in trying to make it unpredictable when the easiest course of action here would have been probably the best. Just give me the best matches and a finale on Rollins and Breakker and just move Rollins on to the main event of SummerSlam. But they didn't do that.
I didn't mind what they did last night. I liked what they did last night. Javon Evans, I mean, to your point before, you were talking about why are we not using King of the Ring to vault new talent? Well, he may not win, but you know what? They just vaulted Javon Evans, who's pretty popular, into the next round. And while Rollins would have been a bigger name, I can't hate on what they did in that match last night, right? Again, I don't like the Dom thing, but like what they did last night, that to me is an example of you want to be unpredictable. In that case, it worked. And I do like the fact that we're sitting here talking about which way this tournament is going to go. We really don't know for sure. Like we can't pinpoint exactly how it's going to go. That's good, right? We just don't like some of the individual moves they've made. I can't hate on what they did last night, though. I like that show overall. I thought Raw was good. I thought that main event was good. And I don't mind Javon moving on. The thing I didn't like was when the match was over, they weren't really talking about Javon Evans getting this big upset win. Like Michael Cole on commentary was all about like, oh, Seth Rollins screwed over by the Vision. And he was talking about Rollins and the Vision. I'm like, hey, like motherfucker, this guy just won. Why don't you focus on him? And instead they made it all about Rollins and Breakker. And it's like Javon was like an afterthought in the whole thing. And so that I didn't like. But otherwise, I like what they did last night.
Yeah, I thought last night was a good show. Io and Raquel now semifinals. Liv awaits the winner on Friday. We got Lyra, we got Ruka. We have Jade and Charlotte. Mm-hmm. Charlotte goes over in this match to get Liv, or what happens here?
Yeah, I think you need somebody from SmackDown ideally, and it's not going to be Jade. So realistically, we're looking, I think, at either Charlotte or Lyra. Yeah. I think Lyra would be kind of my dark horse in that match. Somebody who you can move on to round 2 and then bounce her out there. So like Liv and Lyra, I could see that being a match. But the better match, the bigger match, would be Liv and Charlotte.
Now I'm low key hoping for a Charlotte Io final. That's just me. I just want the better wrestling match. I think either Io versus Liv or Charlotte versus Rhea. It could end up being both the Women's Championship matches at SummerSlam. Or do we go Liv and Raquel and just play out the entire thing all the way till the end with Roxanne kind of choosing sides here? I don't know how you feel about it.
I don't like that as a final. You want to do that, you do that outside the tournament.
Yeah.
I don't like that being the final, where it's an all Judgment Day final in this tournament. I don't like that. And the other question is also, Stephanie Vaquer is probably going to end up fucking Liv over in one of these matches. It's very similar to what we were just talking about with Brock and Oba.
Yeah.
Like you're doing the same thing in the men's side that you might do on the women's side. So I wouldn't be doing that on the same show. So like if you were going to do that, let's say at Night of Champions with Brock, then maybe better to have Stephanie show up in the semifinals and not like you wouldn't want to run the same angle twice on the same show.
Yes.
So if Liv's not going to win this thing, she's the champion. She should win, or somebody screws her out of it. That's going to be Stephanie. I would do that probably on TV next week. In which case, if it was Charlotte and Liv, Charlotte would then go on to the finals. So that's how I would do that. But I don't know. I mean, they may want Liv to go all the way to the finals before she ultimately loses. So that's the only thing. I'm not sure when they would do it. I don't want Liv and Raquel as the final in this tournament. I want Io to go to the finals, and I want Io winning.
So you do Liv and Io in the finals, and then Liv and Io at SummerSlam?
But that's the whole thing. If you bounce Liv in the semis, you get Charlotte and Io in the final.
Yeah.
And then Io wins.
Yeah, I would rather Charlotte, honestly. I think Charlotte Rhea is the play, and then you can do Io and Liv somewhere else. You know,
doesn't mean you can't do Charlotte and Rhea at SummerSlam just because she loses the tournament.
Yeah, I know. Or either way, yeah.
Io's on Raw. If they want to keep her there, she'll pick Liv.
Yeah.
But then what happens with Liv and Stephanie? Yeah, let's not forget, we do have a Saturday Night's Main Event show next month.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could kind of blow that off there if they want to.
Yeah, Stephanie's been out for a while, and she's been kind of injury plagued. So I don't really put a lot of stock in her right now. They got to rebuild her up. I'm looking at Io, Liv, Charlotte, Rhea as the 2 championship matches at the SummerSlam. How they get there, hopefully they figure that out. Royce Keys, he is still battling the MFTs and this beautiful dialogue that we got on Friday Night SmackDown, Jason, where Solo Sikoa said that they are good on the other side, and we need to prepare to go to war. And he's trying to still enlist Royce Keys into the MFTs. Are we looking at, did you get the same feeling that I did, that we're looking at an early build and a little tease for Survivor Series WarGames between Bloodline and MFTs?
It sure felt that way to me, and I died a little bit on the inside. I'll say this. I do think at the end of all this, Royce Keys is going to align with the MFTs.
Turn him heel.
Yep. I think that's exactly where this is headed. There's been too many of these segments for there not to be some sort of twist like that at the end. He's constantly telling this guy week after week, like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. Leave me alone. And Solo keeps making these compelling arguments about, well, you know, Jacob Fatu's your boy, and he didn't call you, and Roman didn't call you. I'm the one who's been, you know, trying to bring you into the fold. And so every single week we're getting these segments and this dialogue. It's got to be leading to something. And for it to be just him beating up Solo, like, who cares? I mean, he could do that. He could have done that 2 weeks ago. If they're going to do some sort of Bloodline versus MFTs match, let's say it's WarGames, MFTs don't have enough guys. Someone will have to link up with them. I think that's what they're setting up with Royce Keys. I think in the end he'll come around. He'll come around.
Sure. I think him as a heel is probably better than what they've done with him as a babyface. So
and then Damian Priest can tell our truth. See, I was right all along about this guy when I said I didn't trust him.
Well, there is another piece of news as far as the Bloodline lineage and family here. I don't know if you guys saw this week, but it was reported by PW Insider that there is talk of WWE being interested in Zilla Fatu. He was at the Performance Center on June 8th, and apparently the report does not state why Fatu was there. Heyman recently voiced support for Zilla Fatu, who is the son of the late WWE legend Umaga, saying that the company should sign Zilla Fatu, who is only 26 years old, at first opportunity they get. He's only been training since 2022, and he's the current HOG Crown Jewel champion, and he's wrestled all over the place. Reality Wrestling, Fourth Rope, and GCW. You guys know the deal there. What do you make of this story, Jason? I mean, I don't want to say it's too early, because if he's in the Performance Center, he's already in the right place, and we know how good he is already. But do you see him kind of integrated into this storyline before the year's end, or is that way too soon for him?
Probably not before year's end, but this Bloodline thing is going to go on for years to come. Like, there's no end in sight. So there's plenty of time for him to be added to this kind of Bloodline lore on TV. To me, this is the least surprising news of the week. I think I would be shocked if they didn't have interest in bringing him in. And I think his ultimate goal is probably to end up there, you know, and kind of be a part of that whole thing. And we've been able to see the maturation process and the improvements that he's made in the ring and in his matches. And because, again, he's only been doing this for about 3 years. You know, he was trained by Booker T out of Reality of Wrestling, and he's been with House of Glory now for a couple of years. He's had a couple of Crown Jewel title reigns. He's one of our most popular, you know, baby faces. The fans love him, and it's been cool to see that growth process. At some point, this was inevitable. I don't get the sense that it's anything that's imminent necessarily. So I wouldn't say before the end of the year. I wouldn't say that he'll be in WarGames in November or anything like that. But to me, whenever the time comes, this is inevitable. This is where his family is. This is where I think his ultimate destination is going to lead him.
Yeah, well, Solo Sikoa started out in NXT, and he was his own entity. So I'm going to be very curious to see what they do with Zilla. Do they do the same thing with him? I'm assuming he would start in NXT. He would be his own man, and then, you know, Solo made the jump to the main roster, and then got integrated with his brothers and his family. So Zilla might be on the same trajectory there. But again, like Jason said, the least surprising news of the week. And he's already made it publicly known that's where he wants to be. So it's going to be curious to see who and when they add any more family members to this ongoing Bloodline saga. And
which, by the way,
yeah.
would be welcome.
Yes.
Because one of the issues I've had with the Bloodline stuff, it's like, oh God, we're back to this again, is because so much of it just feels like a retread of what we already saw 3 years ago, 4 years ago. You look at the Usos, right? It almost feels like they've regressed back to the same positions they were in previously. And Jacob, at least, is kind of a new face in there, and I'm hoping at the end of this he'll come out a lot better off than he was going into it, because right now he's kind of at his lowest point. Hopefully that'll change. But there's a lot of sameness to it. So if they can find ways to integrate new faces into this, that would be one way to breathe new life into it, because it's pretty clear that this is kind of their key story, and it's not gonna be ending anytime soon. So the best thing they could do is try to bring some new blood into the Bloodline.
Yeah, I totally agree. I am not a fan of anything they're doing right now, and they really need to kind of speed things up and get somewhere where it's actually interesting. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. I find the MFTs to be incredibly boring. I think Jacob Fatu legitimately has been neutered. It's a great way to put it, because he's now a follower and not a leader, which we all know is probably going to eventually lead to him being a leader and kind of usurping Roman Reigns. But we've been there and done it, like you said. So I don't care. I just want interesting television, which is not happening on Friday night. Ricky Saints and Carmelo Hayes had their third match, as they still go back and forth on who gets the shot at Trick Williams in the United States Championship, I'm presuming at Night of Champions. And then Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill had a run-in, which led to a women's tag team match with Jade and Meechin beating Charlotte and Tiffany. What they have to do with each other now after many, many, many months of nothing, I don't know, but they figured they teamed them together on Friday night because Rhea was, quote-unquote, nursing an injury. So that was Friday Night SmackDown. On Monday, we talked about in bulk already the King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring. You see where our thoughts are there. I thought the opening segment with Oba Femi, which was tremendous in Paris, the reaction he got, and Dominic Mysterio was really good television. I really like that they put focus on Dominic and Oba, being that match will be taking place next week in Baltimore. So I thought that was a very good open to the show. Liv beat Alexa, Chelsea, and Becky in the quarterfinal of the Queen of the Ring. Sol Ruka had a match with Lyra. She wants to be a fighting champion, defended the IC title. What'd you make of Sol Ruka's performance last night, Jason? I thought it was one of the better things she's done since getting called up to the main roster. And I said, being in there with Lyra, someone as skilled as Lyra, actually helped Sol Ruka out, having a good match.
Yeah, I mean, she needed a solid win in her first title defense, and she got it. I thought it was a solid match. I think it was like 7 minutes. A little weird when she hit the Soul Snatcher. Did you notice? Like
I said the same thing, yeah.
At the last moment, she hits the Soul Snatcher, and she hit it great, but like they cut to a different camera shot behind the post, so we couldn't even see it. Like, what the hell?
Bro, they got anxiety now. They think she's gonna fuck it up every time she does it.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was. So they literally cut to a shot of behind the ring post in the corner where she hit the move, so it completely blocked the move. And it's like, I think in the truck they were like, okay, she hit it. And so on the replay, we got a proper view of it. So that was kind of weird. But otherwise, I thought the match was fine.
Yeah, I called out the same thing. I'm like, what was with that wonky camera work there, man? Come on. Yeah. So, yeah, Sol successfully defends the IC title. We got LA Knight and Jey Uso selling the Fatal 4-Way that's happening on Friday. That was also good television. LA Knight was in the news this week, and he was interviewed by Chris Van Vliet. And I know this has been a long, long discussion in the community about LA Knight and his standing in the company creatively. He said, I'm a man without a country in WWE right now. He said that while the reactions remain strong for him, he is aware that they've dipped from their 2023 height. He says, I still circle around. They still chant the name. The reason it's not as big as it was is because right now I'm just kind of a man without a country. I don't have a set trajectory at the moment. He contrasts that with the previous summer when he was in a title program with Seth Rollins in the Vision. He felt renewed again. It was just a matter of making sure I've got direction, somewhere to go. He says he's sustained momentum and he requires a feud that the fans can invest in. I got to have something that people care about, something that people can sink their teeth into that takes up from an 8 to a 10. He expressed surprise that his run has lasted as long as it has, recalling that many people expected it to be a passing fad. Here we are in 2026, and a lot of people are leaning on the idea that it was going to be a flavor of the month thing. Now, I know you've talked about it recently this week, Jason. I have talked about it seemingly, I can't even count how many times I've mentioned it. We've both talked about it on this very show where we both thought LA Knight winning the WWE Championship, World Heavyweight Championship back on November 1st at Saturday Night's Main Event instead of CM Punk would probably be the way to go if they were to give him one title reign. But man, from the Max Dupree days and Maximum Male Models to him undoubtedly getting fired if that was the case, to Triple H coming back, giving him his name back, giving him his presentation, everything that he was in NXT with LA Knight. Slow build. They eventually built him up to the United States title. He did win it. He feuded with Logan Paul. He feuded with Jacob Fatu. And then, bro, ever since, I mean, it's got to be now going on a full year with this Vision stuff. I mean, he's gone nowhere. And I don't know if someone in the company's got it out for him. You can pinpoint that he's botched here and botched there. He's made a flub here and a flub there. Not enough to fucking kill someone's momentum where he's one of the most over baby faces in the company. What do you attribute this to? Because to me, it's just absolutely insane that you got guys like Cody and Jey Uso and Danhausen now and LA Knight, Roman Reigns. I mean, this guy is mixing it up with the big guys as far as fan reaction. Oba. And they've done nothing with him. They haven't given him anything creatively. They haven't marketed him as a top guy, even though he gets top guy reactions. What's the fucking problem here?
I think the problem is that his name is not L.A. Fatu.
Can we still use that as an excuse, though? I mean, the whole fucking company is revolved around the family. Never mind LA
I'm
Knight.
just saying, you know, when push came to shove, who was the guy that won the Royal Rumble last year, right? It was Jey Uso. That was the new name that they were going to push in the main event scene because the Yeet thing was over. But LA Knight's been pretty over for a few years now. And the idea that he is not, you know, good enough to get an opportunity to run, you know, with a world title, let's say on Raw, is, as you said, it's kind of insane that he has even stayed as over as he has. He talked in that interview about how, like, his reactions are not quite as loud as they used to be. I don't even know if I agree with that. His reactions are still pretty strong when he comes out, but he's hearing it, I guess, in the arenas, and I don't think he would have brought that up if he didn't feel like they're not quite as strong as they used to be. And then he mentioned the reason for that is because he goes around a lot and he doesn't really have a direction, and so that kind of hurts him, which is true, by the way. I think a lot of it, I think it's a mix of different things. I think there could be people in the company who are not huge fans of his. But I think it's also just, it's weird for me to say that, like, he's aged out because they have so many guys who were in their 40s. I mean, CM Punk just had a world championship run at 47, but he was already an established guy and a former world champion before that. And you could say the same thing about a McIntyre or about a Rollins. These guys were already established champions on that roster previously. LA Knight was not. Like, he was not chosen to be in that role. And I think that is part of what works against him. They never really fully embraced him or believed that he can be that guy. And when he falls off the top rope at Elimination Chamber, you know, you look at something like that, and I could see people sitting in the back kind of shaking their head and going, oh, see, you know, even though it's not fair to judge him just based on, you know, a flub like that happening. But I think it's a combination of different things like that. You know, he's a good hand to have. He's very popular. He could be in that mix, but we don't necessarily see him as, like, the world champion. Do I think that he's got a world championship run in him? I do. I think more so as a heel than a babyface. Not saying it can't work as a babyface, but I think he's got a really good heel run in him, like a main event heel run. I don't know if he'll ever get the chance to do it, but I think it would be nice to see. Am I to believe sitting here right now that all of a sudden things are going to be different and he's going to be pushed to the world championship at some point? No, I don't see that happening. But at least now he actually has a story. He has some sort of direction now. This is better than what he had going on a few months ago. Like, the stuff with Jey Uso last night was kind of, like, I loved it when he was like, look, I just want to wish you good luck on Friday. And by the way, what was the line? Like, your family sucks, or fuck your family, or screw your family.
Well,
Whatever,
yeah, he praised Jey for being a family man, and it's commendable.
Right.
That's what a real man should do. But,
Right.
you know, from the bottom of my heart all the way from the bottom to the top, screw your family.
Yes. I like that. And now all of a sudden in this King of the Ring match on Friday, there's like a personal issue there with two of the guys in that, which is why I think the two of them are basically just going to cancel each other out. So I like that. At least he has some sort of direction, but he keeps talking about the bloodline. And it makes you think, well, at some point, maybe he'll be coming after Roman, right, in that title. But honestly, come on now.
It's a dead end.
Like, it's a dead end. Like, it's not, he may get Roman at some point, but it's going to go the way that it went the first time he got Roman, which I think was on one of the Saudi shows. It's not going to be any different. And then when he loses and when that happens, do we have faith that there is another plan for him, or does he just sort of go to the back of the line and he's just a guy on the roster? I think he's just a guy in the roster. And it sucks because I think he's better than that. I think he could do more than that. But I just don't think they see him in that regard. If they did, it would not have taken this long to get him there.
Yeah, but a company that's so starved for top talent that is actually over and can transcend outside the WWE, you got a guy like that and you don't do anything with him? Is it his age? He's 43 years old. It can't be his age because you got Rollins and Punk and Reigns, he's 40, Cody's 40. Everybody's in
But
their
they're
40s.
already established. They're already
I know,
established,
but you
though.
got to give him an opportunity to establish himself, which he has. He has the
They don't
ability.
want to.
He has the ability to do so.
Okay, but they disagree. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm just saying they don't see it that way. They don't see it that way. They've had him on the main roster now for what, 3 years?
Yeah.
Maybe 4. When he wrestled Roman, was that 23? No, that had, well, was
It's
it
been
2022?
it's been 4 years. Yeah.
Okay, 4 years.
Yeah.
So he's 4 years older. And so it's not like, if it was an age thing exclusively, then they would have been like, okay, well, we better do something with him now instead of, we're not going to wait 4 years. It's been 4 years. If they haven't done anything yet, then I don't really have a lot of faith that this is going to be any different.
Are we
Best
looking
we
at,
could hope for is that they have some direction for him, because as he said, when he's directionless, it's like he doesn't really bring value to the show. Where he brings value to the show is when he has something to really sink his teeth into, like this Jey Uso thing. So that's good. I like that.
Yeah, because it's bringing out real emotion in him, and I feel like when he actually has the opportunity to do that, he's very good. But
But he's making great points too.
I know,
Like,
but I won't exactly call this direction though, because if this is what you call direction, it's not going in a certain direction for him. That's going to benefit him.
It's still a direction. It's still a story, though. I'm not saying it's going to end the way that you and I want it to, but it's a story. He's getting consistent segments on television, which he was not doing a few months ago. He would sporadically pop up here and there. But he's in these segments now with the Bloodline. And I want him out of the Bloodline vortex also. But the Bloodline is the top act on the show. So he's having these segments with the Usos. He's calling out the Bloodline. He's calling out Adam Pearce for showing favoritism to Roman Reigns. I love that segment last week where they're in the back and Adam Pearce is trying to explain himself and he takes his finger. Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So I like that. I just, as I look into the future and I gaze into my crystal ball, like, okay, where is this going? I don't have a good feeling about where it's going for him. So that's the only thing.
We'll see with LA Knight. I hope for the best. But if you think that he will win the King of the Ring and wrestle Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, you will be very disappointed.
Yeah, that's not happening.
No. I mean, the LA Knight fan base, man, is
They're very passionate.
a very diehard, passionate fan base. Yes.
They're very passionate. And look, I'm not even going to disagree with the people. I saw some of it in the chat where, does he botch? Yes. Even on the mic, I think part of it is that sometimes when he cuts these promos, he talks so fast.
Yes.
That he kind of loses. I don't know if he loses his train of thought or he just kind of stumbles over his words sometimes. And so,
I mean, yesterday he says he was going to take care of all 4 of them in the quarterfinal match yesterday. I'm like, is there another guy in the match that I don't know of?
yeah, I think he may have said bloodlines at one point. So because he's speeding through these promos that sometimes he trips up over his words. And then in his matches, sure, yeah, there are times where there'll be a botch. Look, when that happens enough, right, you kind of develop a reputation for it. When he fell off the top rope in the Elimination Chamber match, I felt bad for him, but I was also like, oh, that's it. Like, that's it.
I had to look away from it. It was that bad.
It was terrible.
I mean, Randy Orton got a fucking kick out of it, but
Randy Orton laughed his ass off at that when he saw that.
I don't know,
That's
man.
not good. That's not good, and you don't want that to become something that, like, oh, LA botch, or it's happening in every match. That alone, though, should not dissuade them from pushing him because he's still over. It's not like fans are laughing at him when he comes out.
No.
They hit his music and they cheer. So don't squander that. It's like the Chad Gable thing. It's like they have a good thing going right now with him. They have an opportunity for a fresh start. Don't squander what is right in front of your face. It's the same thing with LA Knight. Somehow, by the grace of God, this guy is still over as much as he is. Don't squander that. Find a way to use that.
That is easier said than done with these people. Oh my God.
Clearly.
I don't know. I don't know what they got planned for Gable, but perfect segue into what happened next. Penta, Rey Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't watch this show with a VPN like all the cool kids do, so you guys get to see the action in the action.
Well, I didn't either. And
a lot of commercials, man.
Usually I do, but I was like, oh, it airs at 2 p.m. and that's across all of Netflix. Yeah. And I was like, I'll just watch it, the regular way. Boy, was that a mistake.
A lot of commercials.
Well, in particular on this match, because they took 2 different commercial breaks during this match. And I don't know how it was for you, but each commercial break, I'm pretty sure each one, because you get the counter in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. I believe it was 8 ads per break.
Yes.
16 ads. 16
in
this one match.
And then they did a Minions movie ad for 2.5 minutes and how to watch Minions wearing green thongs during this match. Did you see that one?
No, I did not see that one. I know the Minions. They're like, that's the Minions. I know that. But like, I missed that one. But 16 ads. So like I said in my review, I said, what I saw of this match was good. I wish I could tell you, more about it, but I literally missed more than half the match.
Yet Michael Cole on commentary when it was all over. You guys watched the classic. Like, where? Yeah. In the 16 fucking ads, there was a classic.
Boy,
man, I wish I could have seen it.
So I blame myself because I should have known better. And you cannot watch Monday Night Raw like a normal person. You just can't. You either have to watch it with a VPN, or if you don't have to worry about, going live because you're not a content creator, you got to wait until like half the show is over. Because if you wait until the show starts and then you start from the beginning, you could avoid the Netflix ads.
Yes, I know. I mean, we can't do that, like you said.
We can't do that. So I don't have that option, but I should have known better, and I should have used the VPN, and that's my own stupid fault because the match was practically unwatchable without it. Rey Mysterio, I don't know how he's not paralyzed today because he did a poison rana and he came down directly on his own neck, and I have no idea how he was able to get up after that, but he did. And in the end, Penta won with a destroyer. Again, what I saw was good. I just didn't see nearly enough of it. And then they get jumped by Ethan Page and Rusev, and that leads to the arrival of Chad Gable, who by the way, has been on this apology tour. He's been apologizing to everybody. I said it's like a 12-step program. And he was on SmackDown on Friday to ask forgiveness from Rey Fenix for disrespecting Lucha Libre and the mask, and he gets it now. And he said, of course, you're forgiven, but like, there's somebody else that I think you should talk to. So on Raw last night, he talks to Penta. Penta forgives him and says, I think there's somebody else you should talk to. I felt like these are like video game cutscenes. It's like, or like Mario Brothers, like, oh, you've come to the wrong castle. The princess is in a different castle. So, okay, now you should apologize to somebody else. Okay, off he goes. And so he was going to apologize to Rey and Dragon Lee. And they were like, don't worry about it. Don't beat yourself up. And Rey told him, I think there's other people that you should be apologizing to from even before you started wearing the mask, right? He didn't say it, but obviously he's talking about Alpha Academy.
Yeah.
And that's fine if it's like a one-off apology thing. Please do not put Chad Gable back with Alpha Academy. Please do not do that.
Well, I don't think they would. They gave him his American Alpha theme music last night.
Well, that was the thing that I noticed that I love. Like I haven't heard that music in like 10 years.
I know.
And I know it's a CFO's theme. I'm guessing what they did with it was hard to hear. I'm guessing what they did with it is what they did with Aleister Black's theme, where they had Def Rebel taken and make little subtle changes to it. So that way they can use it now. I hope he keeps it. It's a great theme. But he comes running down to the ring and everybody is going crazy and he's hitting these German suplexes. Like he picked Rusev up. And Rusev is no small man. And he's throwing him around like nothing. And, you know, Rusev had ripped off Ray's mask. It was laying on the mat. And he stares at it. He picks it up and he's looking at it. Penta and Dragon Lee are in there. Apparently neither one of them thought to pick up the mask and put it back on Ray's head. So they're like huddled over him. And they put the mask back on, and Chad is just, he's the big baby face now. And everybody in Paris was going nuts for this guy. And I know you've talked about this, and I think we're pretty much operating on the same wavelength here where, you know, we're heading into a 2-night SummerSlam in the man's hometown. They're in Minneapolis this year. And so obviously you want to have him in a prime position on that show. Now, perfect world, if the timing had worked out better, and I'm booking this, I'm putting him in the King of the Ring tournament. And I'm letting him go all the way. Go big or go home.
That's a ballsy fucking move there.
Well, the timing didn't work out. What's the next best thing? The next best thing is to have him challenge for the Intercontinental Championship. You know, I know him and Penta are cool now. And they're both baby faces now. But that, to me, that's the match to do. And you have him go over and finally win this belt that he should have won fucking 2 years ago. But you have him get the big title win at SummerSlam in Minneapolis. It makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, it's the easiest slam dunk creative that Triple H has this year. If he doesn't follow through, I would be very worried about the future of creative for the rest of the year. If they get this wrong, I don't trust them with anything else this year. I mean, Gable's gotten himself. He's gotten himself into incredible shape. He looks fucking unbelievable. We've talked about extensively how he's undervalued and underappreciated, underutilized. Any other word you want to throw out there, he's probably it. It's just got to happen, especially after that match with Kaiser, mask versus mask. How you don't repay someone in the way that needs to be paid creatively after that, I don't even know how you are in the position that you're in. Do it.
And maybe it's not Penta. I mean, maybe, you know, if they want him in there against the heel, you could have Penta lose the championship before then, right? I mean,
Sure.
You've got Night of Champions, so you would think he might defend the title on that show. You've got Saturday night's main event in Madison Square Garden next month, although that's only like, what is that, 2.5 weeks, I think, before SummerSlam. I wouldn't be a huge fan of putting the belt on Ethan Page for like 3 weeks and then having him drop it, but you could do that. You could do Gable and Ethan Page for the title, and then what does Penta do, though? Gable and Penta's fun. That's a big match to do, and I think in Minneapolis, I don't think you got to worry about the reaction that Gable's going to get. He's probably going to be the babyface in that match anyway. It's got to be that, dude. Like, unless, if they're thinking of something even bigger for him to do that we're not thinking about, great. But to me, it's got to be that way. Like, there's no other match that makes sense. I had one person write in and go, Gable should win the AAA mega title. I said, no. I said, why would you keep him in triple? Like, that's for Kaiser. That's not for him.
What show is that guy watching?
Well, I mean, I guess he heard Gable in his post-match promo go, somehow, some way, I'll be back. I promise I'll be back in AAA. No, he's beyond that. He's beyond that. See, El Grande Americano should stay in AAA and for the foreseeable future and not even come back to the main roster. And that belt belongs to him at Triple Mania. That's another one where it's like slam dunk.
Yes.
Right? How could it go any other way? Gable is beyond that. You now have an opportunity to do something very special here. Because Gable before, we know what level he was at. He was kind of the comedy guy. He was a lower card guy. And then this happy accident happened. And they had this incredible match that was so great. They actually replayed it on Netflix. I'm listening to Braun Strowman earlier today on Busted Open Radio talking about how he saw Mask versus Mask and it just made him feel a certain way. And it made him want to come back to wrestling. And like all these people are heaping praise upon this match of the year, all this stuff. Okay, now you push the reset button. Now you have a real chance here. Forget everything they've done before with Chad Gable. You've hit the reset button. Now's the time to push him at the level that he deserves to be pushed at. And that doesn't include him winning any titles in AAA. This is main roster championships, the way it should have been before, right? Now you have that chance. Anything else is stupid. Anything else is just fucking booking malpractice at this point.
How long has he been with WWE? 12 years now?
Over 10 years. Over 10 years. They've had him for over a decade. It's now or never. There's no more delaying. There's no more, well, let's see how. No. It's now or never. He came in, he was probably 30-ish. Right now he's got to be 40-ish now. What are you waiting for?
We've seen people there as long as Gable not get the payoff that they deserve after legitimately doing everything the company wanted them to do.
But they never had a match like the one that he just had.
No, that's the thing. It needs to be rewarded. Absolutely. I mean, I have nothing else to add there. I mean, I said the same thing last night. I posted it on Instagram today. It's got to happen. It's the fucking easiest thing in the world to do. If they get it wrong, I would be very concerned. So Penta beat Rey Mysterio. Great closing angle. I'm really loving what they're doing with Gable. It just goes all and ties back to that Penta match last year when Penta debuted with the WWE. I love that they kind of just call back to that. It all kind of blends in together. The reason why I put the mask on, why it started. That's the shit I'm here for. Long-term storytelling, man. I love that. And then Seth Rollins, Javon Evans, Ricky Saints, Tall Tonga. We talk about the King of the Ring. Javon Evans got the win. I have no problem with Javon Evans. I love Javon Evans. I just don't think he's going to go any further than this win here. Depending on who he wrestles, we'll find out. It's going to be Jey Uso, LA Knight, or Finn Balor, Royce Keys. That's happening on Friday.
It's got to be Balor or Keys.
Yeah.
You have to send someone from SmackDown to the next round.
Yeah.
Like it's preposterous. Like what is going on here?
What that means for Jey Uso after Roman told him to go win the tournament and go get the other championship and bring it back to the Bloodline, I don't know. What that means for Jey and LA Knight story, maybe they go one-on-one at SummerSlam. I have no idea. We'll see what happens there. Let's see what else we got. We got LA Knight out of the way. We got some Mike Santana news. Let's talk about this because this is also tied into WWE. Mike Santana is set to become a free agent this year. WrestleVotes is told that there is interest from WWE in acquiring Mike Santana. There's also strong internal support from at least one other member of the main roster in bringing him in. It was said that his work and his professionalism are highly regarded. I'm not surprised, neither is Jason, to hear that. They're told that while no brand is nailed down for Santana if he goes to WWE, WrestleVotes claims that WWE would like him on the main roster by the end of the year if they do eventually land Mike Santana. His deal with TNA is up at this summer. Whether it's the beginning of the summer, end of the summer, we don't know. But.
Yeah, supposedly it's in July, so
okay, next
month.
I know I said something on Twitter, Jason, in regards to this. I think I retweeted WrestlePurist, who kind of aggregated it from WrestleVotes. I said, I've been waiting for this. I know you've been waiting for this. This is the culmination of hard work and just betting on yourself kind of coming into fruition. And you like to see that paid off, especially with someone as good as Mike Santana, seeing how hard he worked. I know there's some hesitation and I know there's some skepticism from the fans that if he goes to the main roster, he's not going to really amount to much of anything because of the current creative direction in WWE. Do you have any thoughts or hesitations in regard to Mike Santana being used properly on the main roster?
Of course. I have hesitations about everybody right now. This is not a regime that has really inspired a lot of confidence that they're going to do right by the people who they need to do right by. So anybody that gets called up, anybody that gets brought in, you have to be skeptical. You have to worry. Like, are they going to be featured in a way that they deserve to be featured? Are they go? Now, the thing is, like, he's the world champion right now in TNA. Is he going to come to Raw or SmackDown and be a world champion there? I don't know.
Not immediately.
Well, no, I'm not saying immediately. I'm saying it all. I'm not sold on that happening necessarily, even though we know he's capable of that.
Yes.
I'm not sure it's going to happen, but it doesn't mean that he can't end up in a strong position. And again, the idea that WWE has an interest in him, I mean, the sky is blue. Like, they would be crazy not to. They've used him on NXT half a dozen different times over the past 12 months. We know they have an interest in him, and we know how, we know his work ethic, and because we've seen it. We've called so many of those championship matches in House of Glory where he reinvented himself. And so we know what he's capable of. There's not a doubt in my mind the talent and the drive isn't there for him to be the biggest star that he can be. There's a bigger issue going on here, though, that has to do with TNA. I don't know what the hell is going on in TNA right now, but it feels like there has been an exodus of talent from this company in the same year where they got this big new TV deal with AMC that supposedly is paying them millions of dollars a year. And it doesn't seem like anything's really changed as far as their ability or their desire to pay people at a high enough level to retain them. And we still hear stories about a lot of people are working either per appearance deals or very short-term contracts. There was the Fabian Eichner story recently where it was said that he signed with TNA, literally just signed with them, at least through the summer. I'm like, wow, that's a real long-term commitment there. So either he didn't want to make a long-term commitment or they weren't willing to make a longer-term commitment with him. But this is a recurring theme that we're seeing here. They're going to lose Mike Santana. I'm convinced of it. Like, we don't have that confirmed from anybody, but let's use your brain. Okay, Mike Santana is as good as gone. He re-signed with them last year. He stuck around for another year. I can't imagine he's sticking around for another one.
No. And he's not going to AEW.
No. They're going to lose Mike Santana, and they're going to lose Leon Slater. Now, Leon Slater, they just took the X Division championship off of him. One of the hottest young prospects in all of wrestling. Not even a prospect, like he's a star. One of the hottest young stars in wrestling, 21 years old, maybe 22 now, whatever he is. And probably going to end up in WWE. I was the one who said last week or the week before, like, I'm not as sure about that as I would have been a few months ago. And I'm not so sure him going to AEW first wouldn't be the worst idea, as young as he is. He doesn't have to go right to WWE. I think that he would have a lot of people to work with in AEW where he could go out there and have these great matches and just build up his stock even more. I also don't think they would have taken the belt off of him and stopped him from breaking the all-time record as the X Division champion if they thought he was going to WWE. So that tells me there's at least a chance, in their mind, there's a decent chance maybe he won't go there. Maybe he'll go to AEW. But I would be very surprised if Leon Slater stuck around. If they lose Santana and Leon Slater back-to-back, and I don't know when Slater's contract is up, but maybe in a few months, that's a huge loss for TNA.
Yeah.
And we just talked about the Steve Macklin thing. Like off air, we were kind of mentioning it. That was the big story the other day. Steve Macklin, former TNA world champion, just signed an extension with them in January of this year. We didn't know for how long. He goes to them. And this was a couple of weeks after Carlos Silva loves sitting at ringside for all these matches. And he goes up to Carlos Silva and says, sit down in the cuck chair. And then he turns around and in real life says, I want out, right? And he walks out. Like, what a boss move.
Well, Silva smiled, too, because he knew exactly how true it was.
Oh, yeah. You could tell from, like, he had to stifle his laugh because he knew. Because he's out there for, like, every friggin' match for some reason. But now, to their credit, that we wouldn't see this necessarily with WWE or AEW. They agreed, and they gave him his release. Same thing with Myla Grace, who was part of the Knockouts division. She requested her release, and they granted it. And I'll give them credit for that because they didn't have to, right? But they let them go. But, like, why are all of these people choosing to leave the company? And they're not the only ones. Like, we could go down the whole list of talent that they have lost over the last year and a half, from Joe Hendry to Jordan Grace to the Rascals to Jake Something, and on and on and on. Something is going on here. There's like a deeper story here. And it doesn't speak very well, I think, to the commitment that is being made to trying to retain some of these talents, or just maybe it comes down to paying them what they want to be paid, whatever it is. They have a lot of talented people, though, who still work there. Obviously, the Hardys are still a huge draw for them. We see it. The Hardys are a draw everywhere they go. Mustafa Ali is their international champion. If it were me, I'd put the fucking world title on him. If Santana leaves.
I'm surprised they haven't already.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of shocked they haven't too. That's a guy that you can build around as like your top guy or one of your top guys in the company. Ricky Sosa, right? I think he's going to be a big deal. And I know he's under contract with TNA as well. And there are a few others. So they have the talents there, but like, what kind of commitment are they really making to these people? And part of the downside of the relationship they have with WWE is that they get these people ready, right? Or they give them a platform. They get popular, WWE sees it and they want them and they're going to get what they want. And so TNA can't even really rely on the fact that, hey, Ricky Sosa, for example, might be one of these guys long-term that we could build around, because who's to say in 6 or 9 months, TKO and WWE don't say, hey, we want him. And then that's it. He's gone. They got Joe Hendry. His contract wasn't even up yet.
Yeah,
they worked out a deal for him to leave early.
I know. We were all talking about him dropping the world title so that he could go to WWE as the world champion. He showed up at WrestleMania as the world champion.
Yes. And so there's pros and there's cons, and this is one of the big downsides. As beneficial in some ways as it has been, there is a huge downside to being in this sort of partnership with WWE, where it's like they can't really look long term at building a roster or a solid foundation without people either getting snatched away or just going to them and saying, I want out. That's a problem.
You know, one of these past few nights, I was reading these stories. I followed up after the Macklin story. So one of these nights I was here in the office late at night. I'm on Reddit. I'm on Squared Circle. I'm seeing the TNA thread, and I'm usually never on Reddit because there's nothing but a cesspool of garbage there. And a lot of people are complaining about how bad the TNA creative is. And you're talking about they're not being paid and the creative is bad, and Tommy Dreamer or whoever is a part of the TNA creative team, how bad it is. I see AJ Francis arguing with people on social media who are saying to him, we love TNA. The creative is fucking garbage. It's not where it needs to be. Obviously, he's going to deny that and debunk it and say TNA is great and raise the flag of TNA. But is the creative that bad over there that people are really bouncing on top of not being paid? I mean, it's got to be one or the other or both, right?
It's probably a combination of both, and I guess it just really depends on the individual. Supposedly, and I think Fightful reported that Macklin had raised issues to them in the past about the creative situation. He just wasn't happy. So that at least that was part of it, I guess, in terms of him wanting out. So, yeah, it's a combination of all of those things. It just feels to me like you talk about someone or like an organization that could really use a reset when it comes to that. TNA could probably use a reset. You know, when it comes to, I'm just talking like creatively.
Yeah.
But like there's an issue here when you have all of these people and you have television on AMC, you have this partnership with WWE, and you still have people that are going to you and saying, I want out of my contract. Or if they may not even have a contract, but they want out. Right? That there's a problem there. Why is that? Why is that happening? Is it just strictly down to pay? Is it just financial? Or are there other things going on here?
I don't know, but there's a lot to think about. If TNA did not have Matt and Jeff Hardy, I don't know where the fuck they would be. I don't know how
that was a big part of how they got that deal.
Absolutely. I don't know how long Matt and Jeff are going to be able to be together at full health. I know Jeff's dealing with some issues. How long are they going to have them on TV regularly? What happens if they have to go away on hiatus? I don't know. And then this I just pulled this up now. I had no idea this was stated from Dave Meltzer. I'm curious to know if you heard this from Meltzer. He claimed that WWE's partnership with TNA Wrestling includes a clause that gives WWE the option to buy TNA at a pre-agreed price. Meltzer stressed that this does not mean WWE will buy TNA, noting that similar purchase options existed in the past with WWE agreements with British promotions that were never acquired. Comments came amidst discussion about recent TNA departures like Macklin we talked about, Myla Grace, and now Leon Slater, Mike Santana. Did you hear that story, that they could just outright buy them if they wanted to?
Well, I knew that already. I mean, I had heard that previously. And that's not really, if that's true, that's not really a surprise because as he mentioned, that was sort of the reporting at the time that they were working out agreements with like Rev Pro and ICW and some of these other promotions that they did business with in the past in the UK. So that might be a standard thing where if they are going to enter into some sort of working relationship, they want to, build in, I guess, maybe this stipulation that they have the option. Maybe it's like the right of first refusal or something like that, where they have the right to at least make the first offer, or like you said, maybe there's a pre-existing amount that's been agreed to, and if they want to pull the trigger at some point, they can. Now we're getting into contractual stuff that nobody really knows, but yeah, I had heard that previously, and I would not at all be surprised. Right now, there's really no reason for them to buy them.
No,
they have the perfect arrangement right now, where they could just Yeah, they could just basically pluck whoever they want out of there.
NXT's not the developmental system for WWE. TNA is. That's exactly what it is.
TNA is one of their developmental systems now. It's true. It's true. God. Right? I mean, it's like, okay, we'll give them it'll give them exposure on television. If we want to use them in NXT for an appearance here or there, like they've done with Leon Slater and Santana, right? We could do that. And then when we're good and ready, we'll just take whoever we want. And you know that they'll want to go because WWE is the big game in town. So there's no real need right now for them to buy them. At some point, there might be. At some point, they may see the value in the tape library, honestly. They've monetized the vault on YouTube and stuff. At some point, years down the road, there may be they already have a YouTube channel, I guess, so you really wouldn't have to change much. But WWE then would be able to kind of make money off of it. But right now, there's no reason for them to. Also, I think we can't lose sight of this. WWE lost or settled, I guess, an antitrust lawsuit that MLW had brought against them. And so for them, it's better to be in a working relationship with the TNA to show like, see, we can work well with others here, as opposed to just outright buying them, which would only feed into the narrative that they're just one giant monopoly. So if you want to take a cynical look at it, that may be, I don't say that's the reason that they have an agreement with TNA, but I'm sure that's part of it. So
WWE's letting TNA kill themselves, and they're gonna wait till that sponge is all dried up, and then swoop on in and say, "All right, we're gonna add this to the WWE library now. Thanks for coming."
It'll happen at some point, but for the time being, I don't really see the need for them to just outright buy them. I think it's in their better interest, frankly, to just leave them alone, let them be quote unquote independent, and just kind of partner with them.
Yeah, I'm also worried about Mike Santana on the main roster too. I mean, you look at Jordan Grace. I mean, I don't know what the fuck they've done there, but holy shit, she's wrestling on main event. How you got someone that looks like that, wrestles like that, and you don't have her on TV? It's unbelievable to me. And then Joe Hendry is just, I don't know what happened to him. It's like they go to the buffet, Jason, and they get their big eyes like, oh my God, and they feel like they can eat everything, and then they don't go up for a second plate. It's like, come on, what are they doing with these? Yeah,
they're full.
Yeah.
Joe Hendry's a weird one. There are people like when I review Raw on Mondays, there are a couple people who are like big Joe Hendry fans in my chat. They get irrationally angry. They're like, was he on the show tonight? I'm like, no. And they're so upset about it because he never shows up on the actual show.
How he was not on these overseas shows in Paris and in Italy, it's fucking unbelievable to me.
I don't get it. I really don't. I don't understand.
Of all the places you don't want to use him, you don't want to use him there?
They don't play this. Dude, they don't play the music with those rare times when he actually does something on the show. Again, they bring him out during the commercial breaks. So he doesn't even get a full entrance. I don't get it.
He's like the live in arena commercial is what he is.
Why did they call him up? I don't understand.
Why, like they wanted him so badly. They like desired him, like lusted for him. And then when they get him, it's like, all right, man, on the shelf you go. I don't get it. I don't know. So, yeah, that's the news coming out of TNA. Not really all that positive here. So we'll keep an eye on Slater, who I'm excited about, and Mike Santana, who I'm excited about. Should be interesting to see where they go. WWE this week settled, in principle, the shareholder lawsuit. Trial has been canceled. Now, this is according to Brandon Thurston, who's been all over this. I'm sure he's public enemy number one at fucking Titan Tower over there in Stamford, Connecticut.
The lawsuit itself was not against WWE. So that it's kind of like
it was against Vince.
It was Vince, it was Nick Khan, it was Ari Emanuel, it was different people, but I don't think it was against like as the organ. Like it's not like WWE is on the hook now to pay out.
No.
So it'd be very interesting how this works out, but go ahead and let people know what the outcome was.
So this is according to Post Wrestling. They reported the parties informed the Delaware Court of Chancery that had come to an agreement, and the court canceled the trial at their request. WrestleNomics and Brandon Thurston broke the news Sunday. The court statement reads, at the parties' request, the trial is canceled. The parties have advised the court that they will present the settlement for approval in due course. Now, The listed defendants included Vince McMahon, Nick Khan, Paul Levesque, George Barrios, Michelle Wilson. McMahon, Ari Emanuel, Mark Shapiro, Nick Khan, and Paul Levesque were among the names expected to be featured in the testimony that would have gone to trial if that went ahead and went in front of everybody.
Yeah, the trial was supposed to start on Monday.
Yeah.
And it was going to be a 4-day trial. All those people you just mentioned were supposed to be dragged in to testify. And so effectively what happened is Vince McMahon, he did not want this to happen because what they were asking for, I think, in terms of like discovery and all that, more stuff would have come out. They would have requested more stuff tied into his NDAs.
Sexual escapades?
It could have negatively affected the Janelle Grant stuff.
Yeah.
And so that would not have helped him in any way. And so it was in their best interest to get this resolved as quickly as possible. And I'm sure like Ari Emanuel and Paul Levesque and Nick Khan, they didn't want to be dragged in under oath to, testify. So they settled. And we don't know what the agreement is. It may not even be finalized yet. I believe that the shareholders who filed the suit were seeking damages that were, and we're talking financial damages here. We're not talking about like TKO is losing, control over WWE. That's not what this was ever about.
Yes, the shareholders felt like WWE and Vince undervalued the company and sold it to TK or Endeavor, which is now TKO. Vince sold it to them specifically so that he could benefit by remaining in power. Who knows? Who knows who else was going to buy the company? Liberty Media was one of them. Comcast. Nobody knows how many of these other places could have offered more money to buy the company. But Vince sold it to Ari because he knew it would benefit him and him only.
And here's the other thing also. It wasn't just that Vince didn't want all this other stuff to come out that could have affected his other case. Like I covered this on the Sound Off last week. We just had a story a week ago where Vince McMahon and Nick Khan got sanctioned by the judge in this case for destroying evidence, essentially. Okay? Because all the nonsense with the signal remember Langus? What in the blue hell is Langus?
You mean the genuine gentleman Nick Khan, man, now deleting messages? I'm shocked.
Nick Khan, the very honest man that he is, and you could take everything he says at face value. Yes, that Nick Khan who was, in spite of the fact they were supposed to be preserving these messages, apparently, they were, he had them set to automatically delete. The judge sanctioned them. And at that point, in this case, the burden of proof, which normally would be on the plaintiffs, in this case, the shareholders, flipped. And it was going to make the defendant's case a hell of a lot harder going forward. So there were a lot of reasons for them to settle this and not have this go to trial. It probably would not have ended well for them. But I know that not the defendants, the plaintiffs were looking for damages somewhere in the range of like $400 million to as much as $950 million.
Wow.
So it'll be very interesting to see what, and we may not even find out, but like what the settlement was, and then who pays it. That's what I'm wondering. Like where, because think about it. Vince McMahon is still a shareholder in WWE. So it wouldn't make any sense if the shareholders were going to get paid. Like Vince is a shareholder. So, I mean, you have to imagine he would be, excused from that because that wouldn't make any sense. But like, where is it coming from? Is it being paid by insurance? Is it coming from Vince personally? Is Vince, like Nick Khan and Paul Levesque and all that, they're probably all protected by WWE and insurance policies and whatnot. I'm not sure about Vince.
Yeah, but they went along with it though. They did whatever Vince wanted. They're as complicit as anybody.
Yeah, but they're not going to be paying out of their own pocket for this. Vince probably. I'm not sure about Vince, but Vince has. I mean, he has billions of dollars. I don't cry for him, so it'll hurt. It'll hurt, but like at the end of the day, it's not going to change anything. I mean, it's going to be business as usual, for TKO, and life goes on. But yeah. I think a lot of people were looking forward to the start of this trial, and then when it got pulled from the calendar, it's like, okay.
Yeah. Brandon Thurston did note that the terms and the money disclosed will eventually become public, since shareholders would have to be noted of any payment tied to their former WWE shares. He pointed to a 2025 lawsuit against Meta executives in the same Delaware court, which ended in a last-minute agreement in July, but did not have a final figure made public until November. So we could be looking at a similar situation here.
Yeah, and we found out, like with the MLW thing, we eventually found out it was $20 million.
Yeah.
that they settled for. So we'll probably find out at some point.
So lesson learned here is, chat, Vince McMahon in trouble, just throw money at it, it all goes away. It's basically his if he had a finishing move, that would be it. Ridiculous. Anyway, that's
instead of the $1 million dream, it would be the $1 billion dream.
yes. That's exactly what it is. Nick Khan, let's stay with this. This was one of the more ridiculous things I've heard all year, but seeing where it came from, I'm not surprised. He said WrestleMania 40 Night 1 Tag Team match with Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody and Seth Rollins was always the original plan. Bullshit. In a podcast with the Sports Business Journal, Nick Khan was asked about what level of fan backlash would be required for WWE Creative to change its plans, referencing what happened at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. Nick Khan disputed that plans changed at all. He says, and I quote, "By the way, the plan was always how it ended up in Philly 2 years ago. It's a predetermined outcome in wrestling. You want to throw the fans off. You want to let things bake, and then boom, it ends up the way that we wanted it to end up. It never changed. That was just online rumor and gossip that we were changing. It never changed." So if you need any two in the community that really dove into this and just kind of got over emphatic about it, I mean, you're looking at the two guys that kind of went in the trenches last year, or not even last year, 2 years ago when all this happened. But Jason, from where we go back all the way to the beginning, we had Rock come out. I don't remember what city or what show it was, but I do vividly remember that he was in the ring. He cut a promo. He says, maybe I'll go take myself out to dinner, or maybe I'll go sit at the head of the table, and everybody cheers, and everybody's like losing their minds. Oh, my God, it's happening. Rock and Roman's happening.
I'm pretty sure that was either San Francisco or San Diego.
One or the other. Yeah,
it was in California.
Yeah. So he said that. So it's like, all right, that's possibly the direction that they're going. So Vince is removed again. Rock takes a board on the TKO board of directors, in the middle of all this Vince McMahon nonsense. The Royal Rumble is already determined. Cody's going to win the Royal Rumble. Rock, I think, stated to WWE Creative and Triple H and Cody, I'm not going to interfere in the plans. This is your moment. This is your story. You're going to finish it, yada, yada, yada. So Cody goes on to win the Royal Rumble. You know me. Everybody else knows. He pointed up to Roman in the skybox. All right, there's your WrestleMania main event. He's going to finish his story. We got that at least confirmed, but not really confirmed yet. So in between Rock taking the board of directors seat and the end of the Royal Rumble, something happened in that time frame where Rock went behind everybody's back and said, I want Roman. Let's make it happen. So then Cody wins the Rumble. We go to that fabled night where Cody looked like he was about to cry live on air. He hugs The Rock, and there's a meme out of it somewhere. He hands his Royal Rumble victory to The Rock so that The Rock could wrestle Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Fans backlash. We want Cody hashtag started. Dave LaGreca starts a movement. He goes fucking ballistic on Busted Open. And then we get that press conference in Vegas where they really set the tone with Cody and Rollins and Reigns and Rock, and we see that big diaphragm of the family tree. And at the end of that press conference, we see Rock and Roman walk out, and he's addressing Triple H. He's like, you're going to let him talk to me that way? You need to fix this. And they walk out almost arm in arm. So then we get the ball rolling, and plans were obviously changed. We birthed the final boss. TV is fucking tremendous. We get all these great moments and a great WrestleMania, and one of the greatest main events in the history of WrestleMania. Why did Nick Khan lie when it's all visibly there? And I didn't even mention, I'll save it for you to talk about, the documentary where both Triple H and The Rock say plans changed. Why did he lie so vehemently like this?
Because they always have to be in control.
God.
They always have to control the narrative. Like, we know what we're doing, and so it was all part of the plan. It's also, by the way, ignoring things that Cody and Brian Gewirtz had said at the time about how if you knew what the original plan was for Cody at WrestleMania, you would be furious.
We don't even know what those were.
Well, the rumor was that the idea was that they were going to take Cody out in an injury angle, and he was going to be off WrestleMania altogether. So,
Can you imagine?
I mean, that was the rumor at the time. So, to believe Nick Khan would be to call everybody else a liar. Everybody who was interviewed in the documentary, everybody who's talked about it in interviews, and it was just a really, really well-orchestrated lie that everybody was in on. And so Nick Khan is telling the truth, and You know, it was either they're all part of it, or again, Nick Khan's telling the truth and everybody else is lying. Because there's been a lot said about it by many of the parties involved, like since then. And I don't know. I don't know why. Because to me, like if I'm WWE, I'm using this as an example of like, this is the beautiful part about what we do. Where sometimes you have a plan and then the fans, they speak their mind and you have to just sort of pivot and go a different way. And it's just this beautiful ending, like WrestleMania 30. You don't plan for it, but you just end up there. And it's really all about where you end up anyway. Because WrestleMania 30 was a very similar situation, you know, where Daniel Bryan was not supposed to be in the main event, but a series of things happened. CM Punk walked out. That was the biggest thing that happened. Funny enough, if you think back to WrestleMania 40, what happened at the beginning of that year? CM Punk got hurt. And so that changed a lot of their plans around. And all of a sudden, it was going to be Rock and Roman and everything else. I don't understand why they feel the need to lie about this. I saw some of the video. I'm not even like, he was talking to an audience of people that don't know much about wrestling.
No.
And so I don't think it was like something that he was responding to. I think he just brought this up on his own. That made it even weirder. Like, why would you even go out of your way to bring...
he was asked, what would it take for you to change plans?
Okay, but like again, he specifically brought up that as an example of like, 2 years ago, and we actually never, and I'm sure people in the audience are like, what the fuck is he even talking about? They have no idea. This is the same Sports Business Journal event where I know he didn't mean anything negative by it, but like he brought up Shawn Michaels. He goes, we have some guy named Shawn Michaels who runs our development. Yeah, some guy named Shawn Michaels. But I don't know. I don't know why they see the need to lie about it. To believe him is to also, as you said, believe that the entire documentary was all of it was a work. And again, everybody has just been lying this entire time. And, look, we know better. There was so much going around at that time. Like, imagine if to believe Nick Khan, you would have to believe that they were teasing Rock and Roman, right? Which to a lot of people is still this big dream WrestleMania match that may or may not happen. They promoted it that night. They came face to face. They teased it. And in their mind, they're like, okay, we're going to tease it, but we're not really going to give it to them. Because we know that there's going to be this groundswell of support and social media hashtags and everything for Cody. They're not that slick.
No.
You know what I mean? Like they're not. Look at creative over the last few years. They're not that slick. I don't know why he's lying. It made him look and sound very foolish. He's not a stupid man. I mean, he does stupid shit, deleting messages that he shouldn't be deleting. But he's not a dumb person. I don't know, to answer your question, why he would do that. But it's so ridiculous. Well, it's just completely asinine.
Well, I made a video about this a couple of days ago on Sunday. I said, maybe he's talking to these people like you just stated. Like, they don't know anything about how the creative process in WWE or in pro wrestling works. Maybe he's out there trying to kind of, like you said, control the narrative with people that don't have a fucking clue so that he looks good by default. Oh, we don't change plans. We're very good at what we do. This was the plan all along. So he's kind of trying to come off that way to these people. But I don't think he realized that he kind of threw the Rock underneath the bus by lying, because the Rock had publicly stated that everything was fucking changed because of fan backlash. I don't know why he would intentionally make his good buddy Dwayne look like a dummy. I don't know. I don't know.
Again, Rock had some PR blunders prior to this. And so it's very clear. Like, he saw the reaction, he saw the backlash, and he was like, okay, I don't want to be the guy who is going to go to WrestleMania against Roman Reigns and get booed, and they're going to sabotage our match the way that the fans did with Brock and Goldberg at WrestleMania all those years earlier. So, I'll go heel. We came up with the whole final boss thing, and we'll just sort of run with it, and we'll embrace it. Because the last thing he wanted and the last thing he could afford at that time was some other, PR disaster. So none of it makes any sense. To believe Nick Khan, none of it makes any sense. The whole thing is just preposterous. We're happy it ended up the way that it did, but boy, it was just one potential huge blunder to have Cody win the Rumble and then have him just voluntarily give away his WrestleMania shot, especially coming off the WrestleMania the year before where he lost. He got screwed in the main event, but he's okay with handing his shot over to The Rock, and it'll be an IOU for some other day for me. Like it just never made any sense.
Yeah, Sports Business Journal. We intentionally fucked the Royal Rumble over just to give The Rock the main event at WrestleMania. Give me a break. That wasn't in the plans. By the way, in the same interview, he said people are allowed to complain. We don't adjust our business based on complaint. We adjust our business based on ratings, revenue, relevancy. Yeah? Really?
Yeah. Well, this is not the first time that he has made a comment about how he's not on social media. He doesn't pay attention to social media. And Paul Levesque has said the same thing, where, we don't make decisions based upon social media. It's all a lot of noise, a very vocal minority, right? And over and over and over again in multiple interviews. And I said this on my end. I said, for two guys who don't really, or claim anyway, to not really care much about the vocal minority on social media, they sure do talk about it a lot.
Well, yeah, I agree. And the reason why he says that, and I think the reason why he partially lied here is because he said this quote in the same interview. If he admitted that plans changed because of online backlash, it would blow up his entire narrative here, that he's never online. Oh, we don't listen to fan complaint. You clearly did. Otherwise, the main event wouldn't have got changed. And if you're basing your business based on relevancy, ratings, and revenue, the revenue I get, but ratings, did you see the ratings on Netflix for Raw this past week?
Yeah,
they barely hit 2 million.
Yeah, I don't really put much stock into it, though. I mean, they've been out of the country airing at wacky times, so I don't even know how all that is calculated. Like, even this week, they were on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So to me, like, when they're overseas and the show is airing at like a weird time, I don't really put much stock into it. So I don't know how that compares to what Raw was doing 4 weeks earlier when they were still in the States. I'd have to see the comparison. But I just attribute that to that because that one was the night after
Clash in Italy.
Was it the night after Clash in Italy?
Yeah.
They were still in Italy. Yeah. So Raw aired at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon that day. So I don't know. I don't see that as being as much of a big deal as some people are making it out to be.
Well, he's got to do something about that SmackDown show. I don't know. We'll figure that out.
A few more weeks, right? What is it? June 26th, I believe. They're back to 2 hours.
Yes.
Counting down the weeks.
God. At least for a few months. All right, that's the WWE side of things. We got a couple of AEW notes for our sickos out there because I don't want any complaints in the comments section when we don't talk about AEW. So there is some AEW talk. Dynamite. Big return in Mercedes Mone.
Don't you go and insult the sickos, JB. Don't you dare.
Is that what they sound like?
Some of them.
Okay.
Some of the WWE sickos sound that way too.
Mercedes makes her surprise return on Dynamite. She's in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament, and she beats Alex Windsor to go to the semifinals. I don't know how you felt about the reaction, Jason, when Mercedes came out. She got a reaction. But the thing is, and I have a couple of takeaways from what I saw. Number one, I don't know whether it was just simply she's on hiatus and she didn't want to come back, or maybe she was doing something Hollywood or TV related. I don't know. But why you wouldn't return her if this was the plan, because I'm assuming if you're going to bring someone like that back in the tournament, you've already had an idea for weeks that she was going to return in the tournament. Why didn't they do it in Queens at Double or Nothing? Why did they opt to do it in Richmond, Virginia in front of 3,000 instead of 14,000 at Louis Armstrong at Double or Nothing?
Yeah, it was very weird. That's why I was kind of thinking it wasn't going to be her. Because if it was, I would have expected they would have done that in New York. Unless it really was just a sudden thing and maybe, I don't know, maybe she wasn't available. I don't know. But that would have been the better place to do it. Because again, and there's some people maybe thinking, well, this is all part of the plan and Willow's not really hurt. I don't believe that. So like Willow Nightingale, it's a legitimate injury. We're not talking about her working an injury and this was always the plan or anything like that. So I don't know, maybe it came down to scheduling because she got, like you said, she got a decent reaction. It wasn't anything overwhelming or anything like that, but there were also 11,000 people less than you would have had at Louis Armstrong. Because that match was already slotted in there for that show.
Yeah.
They could have left it in there where it's like, okay, Alex Windsor wrestles the wild card. We'll find out on the pay-per-view who the wild card is. And they just moved the entire match. And they did Athena and Mina instead on that. Kind of rhymes. But they did that match on that show instead. So that was kind of weird. I thought the match itself, they had a solid match, and it was the outcome that I expected. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that she is going to the finals of this tour, as she should, because we're talking about Forbidden Door. Like, the finals are taking place on Forbidden Door on the men's and women's tournaments. You want to have the biggest possible matches that you can on that show. So if Mercedes is in the tournament, she has to be in the finals.
Well, now she's in the semifinal. She beat Alex Windsor. Now she wrestles Hazuki. Persephone lost. Your pick for the finals is no longer there.
I attribute that, though, to Mercedes being inserted into this tournament. See, now if she wasn't in this tournament, I feel like Persephone would have advanced, and maybe it's shaking things up a little bit, because Mercedes and Hazuki have wrestled before. I want to say, I don't know who won that match. I think Hazuki might have beaten her. Let me see here.
Well, I mean, Persephone's still the CMLL Women's Champion, correct? Right?
She is.
So yeah, it would be silly for Mercedes to beat her again after Persephone took the title off from Mercedes. So that's the semifinals. Athena is awaiting the winner of Sari and Sky Blue.
Oh no, Mercedes beat her.
Okay. I wasn't. I'm not filled in on when they wrestled last and where. It's not my cup of coffee. I'm seeing here that Sari and I know I'm going to butcher this name, Takumi Iora
Yes.
may fill in for Sari.
They're a tag team in Japan. That's her partner. And Sari says her neck is not fully healed.
Oh, boy.
So she's bringing her partner with her. And they probably won't know until she gets there tomorrow. She's going to be evaluated. If she doesn't get medically cleared, then her partner, as she said, is going to pinch hit for her in the match.
Okay, so I'm assuming Sky Blue advances. We get Sky Blue and Athena and Mercedes in the finals at Forbidden Door, which would be tremendous, because on the opposite side for the men, you're probably looking at Swerve and Ospreay. Mm-hmm. And just based on those two matches for a Forbidden Door show and a Forbidden Door concept that really is just not the same anymore, that's a big 1-2 combination right there.
Yeah, and you to me, you headlined the show with Ospreay and Swerve.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your main event, which is why I don't mind so much if they want to do, assuming he can wrestle, if they want to do MJF and Mark Briscoe on that show. To me, that's not a main event for the pay-per-view. On a show like Forbidden Door, it doesn't have to be, because you're not going to close the show with that. You're probably going to close with Ospreay and Swerve. So you can, if you want that to be the championship match on that show, you can do that. You can get away with that.
I would be more prone to agree there. I don't know why they opened the show with MJF and Roosh on Wednesday. People were telling me it was to combat the NBA Finals. I mean,
probably, and their audience, I think, decreases.
Yes.
I was going to say declines, but either way, decreases as the show goes on. And I guess there was.
Well, supposedly. So let me rephrase that. It happened where it did on Dynamite before the NBA, because the NBA tip-off game was, or the finals game tipped off at 8:30. So they did that before the actual game started. And like Jason said, the ratings decrease over the course of the 2 hours.
Yes.
Nothing they would have done would have helped. So it would have been the same thing with Ospreay and Mark Davis. But I mean, to each his own. I would have closed the show with the world title and not a tournament semifinal match with Mark Davis, but that's just me.
No, I mean, the way they did things on Wednesday, you had to end with that match. I mean, that match was just madness, especially with all the run-ins and everything, and they wanted the big happy ending there.
Yeah.
So I think it worked out exactly format-wise. It worked out the way that it was supposed to work out.
Mercedes, she comes back. She gets a babyface reaction. She's obviously got pro reactions in the crowd. Last time we saw her, she was a heel. She was talking to herself in a mirror, saying that she was going to come back and collect more than title belts. Is this a concern for you? Because I didn't really feel any desire to cheer Mercedes against Alex Windsor one way or another. Do you think it would have been better for her to come back maybe with a coming soon vignette, Mercedes coming back, kind of set the tone for her return, instead of her coming back in a situation where the crowd is kind of forced to cheer her because they've missed her so long? What'd you make of the reaction?
I mean, again, she got a good reaction, not a great reaction. You could do vignettes, but I think the whole point was they wanted it to be a surprise. But you got to keep in mind, like, this could not have been the original plan if, like, Willow is really hurt. And so she's really hurt. That tells me that Mercedes was never supposed to be in this tournament, which is why I also think there's a very good chance she's going to lose in the finals because she was never supposed to be in this to begin with.
Mercedes is going to lose in the finals?
To Athena.
You think Athena's going to All In?
What I think we're looking at potentially here is they've wrestled once before. Mercedes beat her.
Yeah.
This would be the rematch. And I think Athena beats Mercedes to get herself a guaranteed championship match at All In. They have a pay-per-view coming up in July, a brand new pay-per-view called Redemption on July 26th. And I think there's a very good possibility that Mercedes will challenge for the world title on that show against Tekla and win. And if that happens, she would then be the defending champion at All In against Athena. And that would be their third match.
And then Mercedes would win.
Yes.
I could see that playing out. Sucks for Tekla.
It does, but you know what? Tekla, if Tekla goes to the end of July, or even if she lost it at Wembley, she will have been champion for like 5 or 6 months, 7 months. Like, that's fine. That's again, not everybody has to have a year, 2 years as champion.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's nothing notable that she's done. She hasn't done anything important with the title.
Yeah,
That's
but
the
you can
problem.
say this, and I don't disagree, but you can say the same thing about Chris Statlander's run.
Yes, that's even worse.
Which is weird because Statlander got 2 wins over Toni Storm, and then I believe she beat Mercedes.
Yes.
So she got some big wins, but yet when she dropped the belt, it just kind of felt, I don't know, it just felt like it wasn't a big deal.
They didn't even make her initial win over Toni Storm winning the championship into a big deal. She got no fanfare whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just it was weird. So again, I can't deny that they gave her some big wins, but yeah, no, I think again this pay-per-view coming up in Montreal, this Redemption show, could end up being a real big one, and I think you could see Mercedes winning the belt there and walk in as the defending champion. And I just can't see Athena winning just because she still has that damn Ring of Honor belt that they just don't want to take off of her.
The forever title.
Forever title. So, yeah, I don't see her walking away with the AEW World title, but you could still get Mercedes and Athena at Wembley. You know, we can get it at Forbidden Door and then get it again at Wembley. That would be the third and deciding rubber match of their feud.
I could see that. A lot better than Mercedes just beating Tekla outright at the pay-per-view and Tekla just holding it to keep it warm for Mercedes.
Yeah, because I just keep coming back to this idea where it's like, if Mercedes was not supposed to be in here to begin with, then somebody else was planned to win. It may have been Athena, and so you don't deviate from that. It's okay to have Mercedes lose. And then as far as her getting a title match in July, I mean, again, she could become number one contender any number of ways. She could win a multi-person match, a battle royal. It doesn't matter. She could still get a title shot on that show. And that's a big women's championship match for you to do, you know? Even though you will have already done it, but still, that's a big match to do it all in. So I could see that working out that way. And then on the men's side, I mean, this can only go one way. I mean, come on. The whole story they're telling is about Will Ospreay going home, right, and going for the championship.
Gee, I wonder who's going to win the world championship at All In. Not going to be MJF.
Well, look, that brings me to the other thing about this Redemption pay-per-view. Well, it's going to be very interesting to see who challenges MJF and if it is Kenny Omega. Because if it is Kenny Omega, which they've teased that he's not done yet going after the world title, I don't see how you can beat him twice. I don't see how he doesn't leave without the world championship on that show, because you've already done one pay-per-view main event in Canada this year and you've beaten Kenny Omega. Why would you run it back again a few months later in a different part of Canada and beat him again? That, to me, that just doesn't make any sense.
This is very concerning creative. It's just I don't get it. Like, this pay-per-view Redemption is having it's going to mean a lot more in name because of what we just talked about. Mercedes getting redemption, Kenny Omega getting redemption, possibly Mick Foley getting redemption for the low blow from MJF at the pre-show.
Well, the idea is Will Ospreay will get his redemption at Wembley.
I don't know.
Actually, you know, you mentioned Mick Foley. I mean, shit, if MJF is really left out of the world title picture at Wembley, right? And maybe not. Maybe it's a three-way. But if they leave him out of it, let's say he drops the belt in July, and so he's not going to the main event at Wembley. They want to do Omega and Ospreay. Because look, Tony Khan they've only sold like 18 or 19,000 tickets so far.
Really?
Now, there's no card
I thought it
announced
was
yet.
over 20, no?
Maybe by now it is, but I mean, as of a week ago, I thought it was 18.
Let's see.
But even 20, like that's not a great number.
No.
So he had, now no card yet announced, but the card is starting to form, and you know who's going to be in the main event. He's got to book matches that he thinks is going to sell tickets. He's got to book the biggest possible matches that he can think of. And I'm not going to say that Kenny Omega against Will Ospreay is not a big match for him to do. So if that's what he feels is going to sell the most tickets, then I guess that's the match that he might go with. But what I was going to say is with MJF, I could totally see like MJF and Mick Foley doing something on that show, because like Foley's going to wrestle. We know this. Like 100%. He has said that maybe in a couple of years, he told Ariel Helwani last week, and maybe in a couple of years, the next couple of years, maybe I'll get back in the ring. Bullshit. Like, he may be back in the ring before this year is even over. He ain't waiting 2 years to get back in the ring. And so I wonder if they would do something with him and MJF maybe on that show if MJF had no other opponent.
I am afraid that is exactly the way it's going to line up. And I'm not a fan of that at all. Update on All In. 24,901 tickets moved so far.
Okay. So they went up a little bit. So they're closing it on 25,000, which is good, but still down from where they were last time.
Got a couple of months to go. They got another 20.
They got a couple of months to go, but remember, they did 54,000 there last time there.
That's going to be a lot.
30,000, that's a lot to move in the next 2.5 months.
Then he needs to start thinking, do I run here again? Because the answer would be no, because you've seen decline over decline over decline, year over year over year. I'm afraid that MJF will be losing the championship. Apparently he is hurt, and this happened in the Roosh match. I thought it happened on the tombstone. I mentioned this with Coach today. I thought it was the tombstone on the exposed barricade, which was dumb enough. I don't know why he did it. But it was ridiculous when he did it. But apparently, Jason, this happened on the Bull's horns from Roosh to MJF, and he landed on MJF's left knee. Because I seen a fan video of it, and MJF immediately went to go clutch his knee off the move.
Yeah, and again, MJF kind of moved his leg when he shouldn't have. Yeah. It's just a freak thing. Like, it's not like it's nobody's fault. It happened. I know there was a report there was no heat on Roosh. There shouldn't be. Like it was strictly an accident. He immediately grabbed his knee, so you could tell he was in pain. I saw a video on IG a few hours ago. He was promoting some sort of ice bath from some company. He was sitting in it, and he mentioned, last week on Dynamite, I hyperextended my knee, and it was very swollen, but this thing has been very helpful to me. So he hyperextended his knee. It's still swollen, but it's getting better. I would assume if there was something torn that they would know about it by now. So hopefully it's nothing more than just a hyperextension. And if that's all it is, then I'm sure by Forbidden Door, he'll be back in the ring. But I would suspect, and it would be the smart thing, to not put him back in the ring until the pay-per-view.
No, I wouldn't even put him in the ring with Roosh, but that's just me.
Yeah, let's let him heal up and make sure he's good to go, because the last thing you need is this time of year to lose MJF. That would be terrible.
Mark Briscoe, speaking of which, he cut that promo on Dynamite, which I thought was very good. I get what they're trying to do. Develop a lot of sympathy for Mark Briscoe, who is liked by everybody. Great wrestler. I think it makes sense. I've said here and on my Dynamite review, I would much rather see Mark Briscoe versus MJF instead of MJF versus some New Japan guy that we don't know of. So I like what they're doing here. The only thing I don't like, and this is just me thing, I don't like these 2-week title feuds where it leads to a promo, a match, or hesitation on a match, and it spans 2 or 3 weeks. Then we get the match on a Dynamite or a pay-per-view. I'm tired of the 2 or 3 week builds. I don't know how you feel about the main event scene, Jason. I feel like when we started this year, MJF was surrounded by elite talent. And the main event scene, you and I both talked about it, some of the best talent and the best main event scene that AEW's had in 7.5 years. I don't know what happened. Darby won the championship, 9 title defenses in May. Now MJF's got it. He's defending against Roosh for a 2-week build, and now Mark Briscoe for a 2-week build. Are you all right with where we sit right now, especially with the rumors of him losing to Kenny Omega potentially at Redemption, and then Ospreay and Omega at All In? How do you feel about the main event scene right now?
I still think the main event scene is in good shape. I mean, you don't have as many big names vying for it as you did in January, because back then you had Hangman, you had Swerve, you had Kenny. So you had, and Brody King, you could throw him in there too.
Yeah.
So you had, bigger names. But I still like the fact that there is a lot of competition gunning for the world championship and gunning for MJF. You had Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight's the TNT champion. He called him out. He said, look, I want to be Jet 2 belts. MJF, I'm calling you out. Right? So he's calling him out too. I like that. I liked it at the beginning of the year. I like it now, even though some of the names maybe aren't as big. But honestly, like a lot of them are still in the mix. I mean, Hangman isn't, but and Darby's not now, but Kenny is still in the mix. Ospreay's in the mix. Swerve is in the mix. Brody King. We'll find out, I guess, right? Brody is wrestling Swerve tomorrow. And I think we pretty much know how that's probably going to go. So, but I like it. And I don't mind it so much. I don't need him wrestling every week like Darby. It doesn't make any sense for him to be wrestling every week. But I don't have an issue with it. If they have a solid short-term program for him, again, it gets him on the shows more, it gets him in the ring more, doing more than just cutting the same promo every single week. It'll help make these shows a little more exciting. You just got to come up with the right feud. The Mark Briscoe thing on Wednesday, I thought that promo was fucking great. I mean, really, like he was doing kind of a comedy match with Leo Rush, but then he got serious and he's looking dead in the camera and he's talking about losing his brother 3 years ago and how he didn't know, if he could ever feel that happiness again in wrestling, and a bunch of friends wanted him to conglomerate with them, and he found his love, his passion for the business, and MJF started running his mouth about his family, and he just hates MJF more than any other person in wrestling. And then he beat him at All Out, and he thought he was done with him. He went away. Then he came back and he won the world title, and it made him mad all over again. And again, he has a win over this guy. At the time, MJF wasn't the champion, but now he is. And he's like, I want that title. I want a title shot. So I thought it worked. The only thing that wasn't ideal is that so much time has gone by since they last feuded. So it's a little colder now. You had to come up with some kind of way to heat this thing up again. That's the best thing you could have done. Have him get dead serious. There was no goofiness. There was no redneck kung fu or anything like that. He just looked in the camera and spoke from the heart. And I thought that was just a fucking great promo. The best promo that I've heard him cut since he came to AEW. And so now you're going to set up a match, I presume, for the pay-per-view. Again, we'll see if MJF can go. And MJF's going to win. But again, you can get away with doing it there because it doesn't have to headline the show.
Yeah.
So I don't have an issue with it. You just got to find the right people. As long as you can find the right people, then that's fine with me. It gets them on the show wrestling. I can't complain about that.
Yeah, the only negative I take away from that is that, sure, it's easy enough to tell that Briscoe beat MJF in the tables and thumbtacks match at All Out. He's gone away for a little bit. He had this little thing with Ciampa. They didn't really present him as a main event guy, so it's kind of silly that all this time, 8, 9, 10 months has gone by. They didn't really treat him as a main event guy. He wasn't wrestling main event talent. Now that MJF's the champion, it's like, I want a shot at MJF. It's like, all right, if you want Mark Briscoe to be at a level like this, then you should start building him up to be at that level instead of putting him at that level, then bringing him back down for 8 or 9 months and then putting him back at that level. It's like, I think he's a main event guy.
No, I agree. And it's like Roosh. Roosh got like 6 or 7 wins in a row. But I think last week I asked you to read me the names.
There was nobody notable.
I didn't know a single person on that list.
But the thing is, you know what they did with Roosh this past week? Bro, a trios match with the conglomeration. And he's teaming with Dralistico. Like, bro, why? How are you going to put him in the world title match against MJF and then put him in a nothing match on a Collision? Like, you can't do it. Doesn't make any sense. This is why we get frustrated. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I agree.
Anyway, Kevin Knight, the last thing we'll talk about here before we get to the Super Chats. Kevin Knight, he comes on out, and he is the TNT champion. He had a okay match with Mike Bailey. I feel like they kind of left a lot on the table there. I wouldn't have immediately done the match so soon. I would have saved it for Forbidden Door, but that's just me. But AEW likes to get hasty. Jason, they put Kevin Knight in the Don Callis family. Don Callis announces Kevin Knight as the newest member I've lost count now. I think we're at like 38 or 39 members of the Don Callis family. But the thing is, Kevin Knight was introduced as the newest member of the Don Callis family. While Don Callis made the announcement, his dentures fell out of his mouth. Now, I look at Kevin Knight as cool, suave. You know, he's got the gold chain, the title. He's like, he wants to be Jet 2 belts. Then you got this old geezer out there losing his dentures. It's like, can we do something else?
I think it was a bridge that fell out.
Whatever.
But it's not the first time that's happened.
No.
It's the second time that his teeth have fallen out of his mouth in the middle of a fucking promo.
The last time he did it was with Hangman, right?
But yeah, he was in the aisle. Hangman was in the ring. I thought the first time and this time, I thought it was his gum.
No, I thought the first time it was his gum. I knew exactly what it was this time.
It's like, well, I thought it was his gum again. I'm like, there's no way that happened again. Like, it can't be. God. So like, this guy's gonna have to like super glue that shit in or something just to make sure that doesn't happen again.
What is that stuff? That old geezer stuff? What is that? Bond something? I don't know.
What are you asking me for? Fucking asking me. Gold Bond.
Yeah, Gold Bond. Yeah, for dentures. Yeah.
Yes.
This is not going to harm Kevin Knight in any way. I think it's more of us who are complaining that find it to be comical. Andrade's probably on his way out. Takeshita's on his way out, but Tony Khan's desire to fill those empty voids in the Don Callis family is downright kind of comical at this point. Kevin Knight, to me, I don't know how you feel. We know how good he is. There's a long way to go for him to be like a world champion type of guy. I think Kyle Fletcher's ahead of him, and obviously Okada and Andrade as of right now. Bro, I would put Mark Davis ahead of Kevin Knight right now as far as where the standing is in the Don Callis family. I think Kevin Knight sits at a nice number 5, cozy.
No, I don't think so. I would not put him behind Mark Davis, even though I think
you're a Mark Davis Mark. I know.
I am a Mark Davis Mark, dude. Like,
listen, he's a great wrestler.
He is, and I never saw him in that light before. I just thought he's going to be on the bench. You know, they put him in another team with somebody different. Jake Doyle got hurt, and he was the guy whose job it was. He's like what Austin Theory is to the Vision. His job was to go out there and look up at the lights. And so and that's what he was doing in most of his matches. And then Tony Khan just kept giving him TV time, more TV time. And then he put the national title on him. And I could tell also he looks a little trimmer. It looks like he dropped some weight. And he just has great matches. He's now main evented the last 2 weeks of Dynamite. The match with Jack Perry wasn't bad either. And this match, I loved this match. I
thought it was a little over the top.
No. See, I thought it was fucking great. And it was overbooked as all hell. But there are just certain situations where, and like WrestleMania, a couple of years, I'm not comparing the two, like one was better than the other. I'm just saying that WrestleMania main event, you probably had people with Cody and Roman saying, oh, this was just an overbooked mess. Yes, but that's what made it great. Because that's what it had to be. In this case, under normal circumstances, if you had 18 people do run-ins, especially in a tournament match, I would be like, what the fuck is going on here? But it just worked. You know, the fans ate it up. It worked. They tried to tell the story. It's like the Callis family, but then the Death Riders are there to counteract the Callis family. Takeshita showed up to stop Kyle Fletcher from using the screwdriver because they have their own issues. So that's kind of cool. And everybody is losing their minds. Now, I thought that fucking pile driver spot.
Yes, I was going to ask you.
That should have been. Now, I know, obviously, Mark Davis was not going to move on in the tournament
all
over
right,
Will
but
Ospreay.
Don't do it like that.
Yeah. I mean, to kick out of that pile driver was ridiculous.
He's got the best pile driver in the business right now, hands down.
Yes, that looked great. But when it was over, it was like 23 minutes, overbooked as all hell, and I had a lot of fun watching it. I cannot hate on that main event. I don't know that it needed to go 15 minutes overtime, but I thought that main event was fucking great. So I love what is going on with Mark Davis. I don't know how long it's going to go on for. I still would not put Kevin Knight below him. You know, he's the TNT champion. They've been pushing him since the beginning of the year. Tony Khan loves Kevin Knight, which is why, yes, he's one of many in the Don Callis family now. It's ridiculous. I mean, they didn't even give him a chance to stand on his own 2 feet. But he's going to be fine. Because I look at him the way that I think they look at like Kyle Fletcher. He basically is having the year now that Kyle Fletcher had last year. So he is going to be one of those top faces in the faction. Okada, Fletcher, Knight, then maybe Davis. That probably would be the order. and then maybe after him, Andrade for now, I guess. So he's not going to be, Rocky Romero. He's not going to be Trent Beretta or Jake Doyle, who's just sort of in the background. He's going to be a featured guy. So he's going to be fine. The thing that I find funny, though, is he's in the ring talking about how Don Callis is going to be the one to help him get to that world championship. And I'm like, the last time that Don Callis managed a world champion in this company was 5 years ago. It was Kenny Omega. It's not like he's had a track record like Paul Heyman for the last 5 years of managing world champions. So, like, what is it about Don Callis that keeps these people coming back to him, thinking that he's going to lead them to the promised land? I haven't really fully figured that out yet.
Well, what's the fetish with everybody needing to go through the Don Callis family to come out on the other end as a bigger star? That's the problem I have. And what is
Tony Khan look, Don Callis, he's a great heel manager.
He is. He's a great announcer too.
And I think that Tony he trusts him and he looks to him and says, okay, like, I think they look at the Callis family, maybe in a way, the way WWE looks at the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day over time became this group where you would join it and you would come out better off for it, or maybe like a bigger name on the other end. Or they could use it in that way. It became a useful group. I think Tony looks at them as a useful group. They're all over the fucking shows, dude. Like, they get so much TV time.
Yeah, it is. It's a little Don Callis fatigue at this point.
They're
Don't you
all over Dynamite. They're all over Collision. So at least for Kevin Knight, like, he doesn't have to worry about not getting TV time. But I think that's how Tony Elding looks at him. Like, okay, put him in the Callis family. It'll help get them over. They'll be a bigger star on the other end of it. But, like, there's a limit to how many people. Like, the Heenan family was a big family, but this puts the Heenan family to shame in terms of just pure numbers.
Don Callis is no Bobby Heenan.
He's not. But, like, I don't remember the Heenan family at any one time being quite this big. Like, the Heenan family actually started in the AWA. So if you added up all the members of the Heenan family over the years, there's a lot of them. And I'm still not sure that it matches the total number of Don Callis family members.
The thing with Kevin Knight is, I agree. It's not that big of a problem. The thing with this is, I know the Hurt Syndicate are baby faces. Jesse tends to think they're tweeners. They could be baby faces or heels depending on which way the wind blows. But you have MVP. I thought he would have been great with Kevin Knight. They had a little interaction with Kevin Knight and Swerve a couple of weeks back. That amounted to nothing. You had and Jason goes away as I'm in the middle of speaking. Hopefully he figures out that he is no longer with us. I have to. I gotta bring it up to him. We gotta change providers here. StreamYard completely. There he is. I don't know, man. StreamYard doesn't like you. I don't know.
I don't know what I ever did to it.
I don't know. We'll figure something out. I got a possible solution. I'll tell you off air. I was saying, Jesse was saying that the Hurt Syndicate are tweeners. He says they could be heels or baby faces. You have MVP. Swerve and Kevin Knight had this little run-in where Kevin Knight was walking past Swerve and Swerve gave him like a nod, like, yeah, that's what you got to do. Yeah. So you got Prince Nana. You got Stokely. Bro, any one of these guys, to me, would have fit Kevin Knight better as a mouthpiece, Stokely or Prince Nana. Just having Don Callis there, I mean, I get it, but literally everybody's done it. I felt like they should have did something different with Kevin Knight. Maybe.
Yeah, I think Stokely is a good one. Right now, he just has FTR. So if they wanted to expand his stable, I think Kevin Knight would have been a great person to put with him.
Yeah.
So I agree. The Hurt Syndicate, to me, they're baby faces now. I don't see them as tweeners. They're baby faces. So that wasn't going to work. If they wanted him to go heel, then it just wasn't going to work. Even if you book them as tweeners, like, the people cheer them anyway. You don't want people cheering Kevin Knight. You want to turn him heel, turn him heel. So that just wasn't going to work. Swerve, there could have been sort of a like an alliance between them, maybe, where it's like Swerve kind of looks at him and says, "See, you're coming around now. You're learning." And maybe they're sort of loosely aligned, but you know, do they want to make a Swerve faction? Yeah. I don't know that they want to do that. Stokely, I think, would have been a good choice. Stokely would have been a good one. He's not going to get as much TV time as Callis and his guys are, so it comes down to that more than anything else. Yeah. It feels like every heel that's really worth anything, male heel is pretty much in that group.
Yeah.
Almost, right? I mean, I'm not really exaggerating much when I say that.
No.
So it's a lot. It's a lot. Stokely would have been a good one. I think that could have worked.
Don Callis' family still has 2 injuries, one to Josh Alexander and one to Wardlow. Wardlow is hopefully back sooner than later. Josh Alexander just went out a couple months ago, so they are not at full strength. Every time you think they're at full strength, they are not. There's always someone on the shelf, but Kevin Knight is the newest addition there. And as Dynamite rolls on into Cincinnati tomorrow for Summer Blockbuster, we have this to look forward to. We have Swerve vs. Brody. Winner of that will face Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door. We got Jon Moxley defending the Continental Championship. I don't know why, against Shane Taylor. I guess Tony Khan wants Shane Taylor on the show this week for whatever reason.
Where is the show tomorrow?
Cincinnati.
Is that Shane Taylor's hometown or something? Like,
No, it's Jon Moxley's hometown, but they're in the same place that they ran that building that you liked in Cincinnati. The
the music.
the music hall. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that venue.
yeah. So that's where they are.
I want to see where Shane Taylor is from.
Yeah, the Andrew J. Brady Music Center.
He's from Cleveland.
Is he?
Yeah.
All right, so it's a hometown match. That's the reason why. Sari as of now versus Sky Blue. We'll see what Sari's medical update is tomorrow. Mark Briscoe goes one-on-one with Pac. Orange Cassidy goes one-on-one with Andrade. That should be a good match. Pac and Briscoe should be a good match, too. And then the Bucks versus the Dogs tomorrow. Tag team match. Who let the Dogs out?
Oh, good. They're doing it on Dynamite. Okay.
I wonder
Well,
who
I guess
gets
the bigger- I guess
Cope
the-
and Christian at the pay-per-view.
It's so weird. Like they put the belt on Cope and Christian, and then the very next time on Dynamite, they did an injury angle to write them off TV.
I don't know. As long as I'm assuming it will be the Dogs at the pay-per-view, no?
I would think that they would wrestle on the pay-per-view, unless they're saving them for Redemption in Montreal.
I don't know.
It's a long time to be without your tag team champions, though.
I don't know. But that is AEW. That's all the wrestling news we got for you. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us on this Tuesday night for episode 150. Let's get those thumbs up in. We got 705 likes. I would love to get as close to 1,000 as possible. If you guys have the desire to do that, I would love to see that happen. Super chats are open. Get them on in. You guys have killed it tonight on a slow Tuesday night. So get them on in. If you guys want to follow Jason on social media and on YouTube, everything you need for him is linked down below. And go buy a t-shirt. We have new t-shirts up. If I could find it here, there you go. Tuesday Night Titans now available on fourthwall.com. Go and pick up this bad boy today. Shout out to my guy Sal Rex who made that design. And that is now available, so please go and pick that up. Great way to support. Let's get into these super chats here. We'll start off right at the top with, I think, Michael Krause. Yes, Michael Krause with a $2 super chat. JD Jason driving all gas, no brakes with it. TNT 150. Yeah. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Ash with a $5 super chat. If LA Knight stayed away from the top rope, he probably would have been a world champion already. Also, when should he have been champ? JD and Solo. Well, we talked about that. November 1st, Saturday night's main event would have been the ideal place to do it.
Yeah, after Seth got hurt.
Yep. If he stayed away from the top rope, I'm going to chalk that up to the footwear that he uses when he comes out there for these segments. He wears these combat boots almost. I don't know what they are.
Remember a couple months ago, I think it was on Raw, he came running through the crowd.
Yeah.
And he jumped.
Yeah.
He jumped over you saw the fan video.
I know. He slipped.
Yeah, something about those boots. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what was on the floor, man. Maybe it was sweat. Maybe somebody spilled a beverage. I don't know. Caden with a 199. Thank you, Caden. No message. Michelle with a 2. Jay beating Cody for the title. Is Triple H that dumb? It's not going to happen. I mean, we'd have some serious. I think people would be calling for Triple H's termination if that was the case. Michelle also with a 2. What brand would you put Punk on and feud him with who? SmackDown. I think we both agree, Jason, on SmackDown. Mm-hmm. I'd love to see him feud with Sami Zayn.
I'd love it when Kevin Owens comes back and he's on SmackDown still to feud Punk and Kevin Owens.
Listen, SmackDown needs something like that. I'll tell you that right now. Johnny Boy, Kevin Owens, by the way, looks incredible. He lost a lot of weight in his absence. Getting better, hopefully. We see him back on television one of these days. Johnny Boy with a $20 super chat. Congratulations on episode 150, Mr. Solo. You've got to root for a LA versus Roman because JD declared to wear a Mets hat, and you can't be more giddy to see a Braves fan wearing New York merch. JD, you have to wear a Mets hat on a full episode of TNT. I will. If LA Knight, listen, I'll make it easy. If LA Knight wins the King of the Ring, I'll wear a Mets hat. I don't think he's going to win King of the Ring, though.
See, I think if he wins King of the Ring, that you should wear the full Mr. Met hat with the whole head.
The head?
The head.
Can I even buy one of those?
I'm sure somebody can 3D print them on Etsy or something like that. But yeah, that I'd like to see that.
I don't know how my voice would resonate through the Mr. Med head, but
The mic might be a little muffled.
yeah. Survivor with the 14 months. How's it going, JD and Solo? I will be tuning in later as I'm on my way to see Obsession.
Oh, what took you so long?
Look at this guy.
You got to see it. You got to see it. They're still packing in theaters for it. And that's the best way to see it, honestly, is probably in like a crowd of people who've never seen it before.
Have you been to the theater more times this year than you've been in the last couple of years? You've seen Mortal Kombat, He-Man. You've seen Obsession, The Backrooms. What else did you see this year?
Well, I saw this movie that came out at the beginning of the year called Send Help, which is a Sam Raimi movie. So I saw that first. And then I saw Mortal Kombat. I saw the Obsession movie. I saw Backrooms. I saw Masters of the Universe. I'm seeing Disclosure Day this Friday. So I've been to the movies this year more than I have probably in 15 years.
Wow. Disclosure Day, we have At the End of Oak Street coming out.
In August.
That whale movie.
Well, before that, yeah. So, and don't forget, for those who want to see it in the, I don't know if I have to see it in the theater, but I do want to see it. That Coyote versus Acme movie with John Cena.
Yeah, the trailer looked pretty decent.
It's kind of like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit type thing where you have a mix of the cartoon and live action. I just kind of want to support it because we weren't even supposed to get that movie. That movie was supposed to be put on a shelf. It was going to be destroyed. It was never going to see the light of day, thanks to David Zaslav. And thankfully, they came to their senses and it's finally getting released. So that's at the end of August. And then Resident Evil in September.
Yeah, that looks good too.
Yeah. Godzilla. Did you see the last Godzilla movie, the Godzilla Minus Zero?
I have not.
It's good. Godzilla Minus One is coming out later this year.
Okay. Yeah, I got to get my way over to see Backroom still. I definitely want to see Oak Street and then Odyssey. I'm definitely going to go see the Odyssey. That's my type of deal.
You got to see Clayface when it comes out.
Clayface is getting a movie?
You didn't see the trailer?
No.
Oh. Oh my god.
I got to look this up, man. If it's if it's Batman related, I got to check it out.
You have to see. I don't think Batman's in the movie. They're doing like a standalone origin story movie on Clayface. And it's a horror movie. It's like a body horror movie.
Oh my
god! It's the first DC like horror movie.
Wow, I gotta check that out.
You got to see the trailer.
I didn't know.
It's great.
All right.
It comes out a week before Halloween.
Wow. Did you see the new Halloween video game?
I did.
What do you think of that?
It looks good. It looks good.
A lot of good things coming out, man. A lot of things to be excited about. Everything but pro wrestling. Luca, 14 months. If you were a boss in Elden Ring, I could see your opening lines as what led you here, long-term booking, and then boring when you defeat a player. Elden Ring, man, you couldn't get me to play Elden Ring. That's like a fucking heart attack waiting to happen, man, with the amount of stress.
Like,
no way.
I think that's Randy Orton's favorite game.
Is it?
He's got hours and a few years ago anyway. He had hours and hours and hours invested in Elden Ring.
Jesus. DJ with a $4.99. JD and Solo, can I get a 40th birthday shout out last weekend? Also, what was each of your favorite vacations and or destination have you been to? TNT.
Well, first of all, happy 40th. And I also want to take this moment to wish a happy 40th to Katie, who I know is watching. She watches every week. Favorite vacation ever? I have a few. I can't just narrow it down to one. Although I had a destination wedding that I went to in Cancun once. This all-inclusive resort. That was great. But like my first New Orleans trip for WrestleMania 30 is one of the best trips I've ever taken. Had so much fun on that trip. But I've been to I was in Costa Rica many years ago. We did like waterfall rappelling and a lot of fun stuff like that I normally wouldn't do. So I would go with one of those three probably.
Yeah, it's a little bit more difficult for me because I don't really travel a lot, as I am very hesitant to fly. I've flown more with House of Glory than I've flown in my entire life, so I don't necessarily call them vacations. I would probably say Franklin, Tennessee. We went to Tennessee, family vacation. I had a great time down there. It was just a beautiful town, very me. Very sleek coffee shops and some great shopping. A great town, great movie theater. It almost reminded me of home. So, I thought that was great. I visited the Jack Daniel's distillery, which was a great tour. I'd probably say that. Other than that, Florida is great, but I wouldn't call that a favorite destination or anything.
Yeah, I had fun in Colombia until I got hurt. So. That was a fun trip until the final day.
Yeah, I remember you said that.
Left a piece of myself down there.
A lifelong memory. Never forget.
Oh my God! Did I ever show you the photo?
No.
Of my leg?
No.
I feel like if I posted it on social media, my account would be banned for sensitive content. I've never seen so much blood in my entire life. It was so bad. And and I couldn't communicate with anybody because they were all speaking Spanish. And I'm like,
that's the worst.
I'm trying to explain. It's like 2:00 in the morning. I'm in this little tiny hospital and I'm trying to speak to them. And I feel like they're not really understanding me and I'm not understanding them. And I'm like bleeding all over the floor. And it just got to a point where I was laying there and I was they put some sort of solution on the leg without warning me. And so I scream, I'm screaming, I'm in so much pain. I'm like, you got to knock me out. But I'm trying to communicate that. So I take my fist and I'm going you got to knock me out. You got to knock me out. I'm surprised they didn't punch me in the face. But I was just trying to tell them. And then all I remember is I woke up and I was just kind of laying there by myself. And I looked down and my leg was all bandaged up. So I guess whatever they gave me, I guess they knocked me out. But it's a great story to tell.
DJ, thank you, brother. 40th birthday. Happy birthday, man. Appreciate you. MGM Ballin with a $4.99. What comes first, JD watching Sopranos or GTA 6? Yes, we answered that before. GTA 6, I would say. Yes. I just watched The Burrows on Netflix, which I highly recommend. I thought it was excellent. I don't know. Maybe I need something new to watch, so maybe it'll slide into the rotation. Maestro with a $4.99. Been a while, guys. I was on vacation. Are you guys believing the rumors that Punk is having trouble with WWE, or is it just a bunch of bullshit? I don't believe anything yet right now. Everybody is going to clickbait the shit out of it and make it worse than it seems because it is CM Punk, and they're all harboring on the fact that he shoved that fan at the MGM Grand. He's not punished for that. To keep him off television is strictly a creative thing. Maybe there's some back and forth about what they do with him creatively. Maybe he has an idea. Maybe Triple H or the higher-ups have an idea, and they can't come to an understanding. That's probably all it is. Israel with a $4.99. Hey, JD, Jason was thinking about going to Triple Mania in Vegas until I saw the cheapest seats are over $700. Cheers, guys. Great show. Well, it's WWE, man.
I thought they were already sold out.
Were they?
If they're not, they will be. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people willing to spend money on those tickets. But yeah, it's TKO. So what do you expect?
Yeah. Bork Laser with a $4.99. I have been listening to Jason since the TV track days and came across JD a little bit before Jason joined TNT. Now I listen to both shows every single week. Look at this guy.
Look at that.
Thank you, Bork. Appreciate you being here, brother. Baby Shaq with the 49 months. WWE has moved Money in the Bank to October. It's totally ridiculous with this company. We talked about that earlier. It was the first topic we talked about. Lisa with a $5 super chat. Becky with Money in the Bank with her current character would be hilarious. I could see it. Not my first choice, but I could see it.
Yeah, she doesn't need it.
JM with a $5 super chat. With WrestleVotes reporting that Liv is going to the Queen of the Ring finals, King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring will forever be tarnished. Doing all this for the Judgment Day slop. Did they report that today, that she's going to the finals? I didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
We'll see, man. It's not out of the realm of possibility. No one Triple H. He loves his Judgment Day. Also, JM with a $5 super chat. Triple H isn't involved with the business side of WWE, but it is weird that the one PLE gimmick he hates, which is Money in the Bank, keeps getting their dates moved. Yeah. Listen, I think Jason can agree. I know they won't, because I'm assuming it's going to be one of those shows that they want to do over 2 nights, just like the Rumble and Survivor Series in the years to come. I would cancel the whole fucking pay-per-view and move it to WrestleMania. That's what I would do. But it's an easy sellout for them because it's a gimmicky show. Cody with a $2 super chat. They need Punk, Drew, Randy, and KO to return fast. I agree. You are seeing the absence of Punk, Drew, and Randy really, really harm the television program. It is very noticeable now. MGM Ballin with 499. You answered my earlier question pretty early on, so I will follow up with this. Does JD listen to Solo's Hybrid Theory CD or watch The Sopranos first? Oh, I mean Hybrid Theory, no doubt about it. I told you I'm gonna film it when it happens.
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
You know the our DJ at the NYC Arena played something off of, I think it was that album. And I knew it was Linkin Park, and I asked Jason, does this count that I'm listening to it? He said, fuck no. I'm like, okay. I guess I have to insert the CD physically into the Mustang.
Yeah, you have to unwrap the paper, the plastic that's around the CD and actually play it. Otherwise, it doesn't count.
We got one from CK here, $5 super chat. If Punk wins Money in the Bank, I think he needs to turn heel upon cash-in like he did in 2009. Though, if he cashes in on Cody and wins, they'll still cheer him. I would rather see a heel Cody. Honestly. What do you feel? Punk going heel or Cody?
Of the two, Cody.
Yeah. Tone C with a $5 super chat. Just a couple of friends sharing some laughs and talking wrestling that so happens to be the best of the best. Congratulations on 150 TNT for life. Thank you, Tone C.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it. Ray Reese with the $9.99. With WWE TKO admitting that they use ChatGPT to write storylines, do you see them firing their creative team in the future to rely on AI? No, not completely.
No.
That would be awful. We want to create jobs, not eliminate them. Plus, AI is not where it needs to be. I doubt it ever gets to where it needs to be because, I mean, I use ChatGPT on the regular to maybe come up with thumbnail concepts and kind of come up with merchandise ideas, which I then pass off to physical human beings to create the concept. It's good for some things, but, there's nothing better than a group of talented people doing that work for you. Terry with a $5 super chat. Does Master P visit House of Glory occasionally? I'm from New Orleans and received Lil Romeo's first album CD at my cousin's house when I was young. When was the last time we saw Master P at House of Glory?
Been a while,
yeah.
Been a while.
Solomonster's son with a 199.
He's back again.
Dad, Mom said if Jey Uso wins, I'm moving in with you. Oh my God. Okay.
Well, now you know why we got divorced, because of things like this. I've changed all the locks. You ain't moving in nowhere. Kid won't leave me alone.
Oh my goodness. Tay with a $20 super jack. Congratulations to you guys on making it to 150 of TNT. Who would you rather see in the finals for both women and men? I go Finn, Dom, Io, Charlotte. Why is Liv in this tournament? And where is Stephanie Vaquer?
I think we talked. Yeah, I think we talked about it earlier. I think Io Charlotte makes the sense on the women's side.
I'm going to keep an eye out on Jason's fucking recommendation. He thinks someone in the men's is going to get axed.
I think there's a possibility that it could happen, and you've got some big names who could be slotted in there.
We'll see. Unleashed with a $10 super chat. Today I lost my dog Leo. I have 3 other dogs, but it feels so quiet without him playing with them. The vet was going to euthanize him, but we wanted him to go naturally. He passed facing me. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. It's tough, man. You know, reading your message. I mean, the same thing happened with me and Bacardi. I mean, literally. I feel your pain, brother. All I can say is that we're here for you. You got a great community. If you need me or Jason's community, we got you. They never leave you, man. I think about her every day. You would think about Leo every day. Believe me. MGM balling with a $4.99. The NBA decided Wemby's shove/forearm to the neck of Brunson wasn't flagrant. Their golden boy continues to avoid trouble. I saw it. It was terrible. I was shocked.
It was so blatant.
Yeah, it was. It's like he was legitimately WWE on the court.
Yeah, but if Brunson breathed on him the wrong way, that would be a violation.
Yeah. Ballin also with a $4.99. I love the European crowds, but them booing LA Knight in favor of Yeet Man is just asinine. Everybody's, LA Knight made, listen, he said, I get it. You guys can cheer for whatever you want, but Roman's got you all manipulated. He's all got you brainwashed. We may be seeing an LA Knight heel turn at some point. I don't know. I would accept it. I think we're ready for it.
That's what I said.
Captain Solo with a $5 super chat. LA Knight's biggest crime was getting over on his own. I agree. It's not age. They're doing him dirty like they did Zack Ryder and Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, don't get me started on Matt Cardona. That's just...
I don't know why you're shocked. I mean,
I'm not shocked. It's just sad. Ziggler was great, though. It was awesome. Georgie with a $4.99. Solo Ducks drown. No wow. Mets stink. Ha. Triple H idiot. JD RKO Candace. No con man sucks. RKO rock pin. No duckies. Survive. Wow. Medusa sing. No low blow. Ouch. Bro, I don't know what the fuck I just read.
Is this Havili?
No, this is Georgie.
I think it's Havili under a different name, is what I think. Because that sounds totally like a message that Havili would send in.
I thought that it sounds like Demeter Bullion.
Oh, you know what? I think I got that mixed up. I think you're right. Sorry, Havili.
Georgie, I don't know what you're on, bro, but please explain.
This is Demeter. That's who it is.
Yes,
not Havili.
Yes. Boss Mo Jackson with a $4.99. I'm late to the stream. I have a new lady friend, so I was spending time with her. Glad to get to the stream before it's too late. TNT for life. Bro, why did you show up here? We're always going to be here, man. After she goes to sleep, we'll be here. Come on now. MGM balling with a $1.99. Yeah, what Georgie said. I don't know. Maybe you can decipher that hidden message there, MGM balling. LT Full with a $5 super chat. Why don't skeletons fight each other? They don't have the guts. They don't. Cake with a $2 super chat. Bloodline bots have irrational hate for Chad Gable. What? What does the Bloodline have to do with Chad Gable?
They want Chad Gable to acknowledge their tribal chief.
Oh, I guess so. Boss Mo Jackson with a $49.99. Look at this guy. Thank you, Boss Mo Jackson. Now is the time for WWE to strike gold with Chad Gable. I won't hold my breath, though. There's a story there with Penta. Let's get this man the push he deserves. In my eyes, Penta is the greatest lucha ever, and he's my personal favorite.
Ever? Wow.
Well,
high praise.
He's great.
Don't know that I agree, but high praise.
He's great. Let's get Phoenix up to that level, too, while you're at it. Gangrene David with a $10 super chat. I may be in the minority here, but I think the El Grande Americano arc may have resurrected Chad Gable's career, and I'm really interested in seeing a match with him and Roman or Cody down the line. You would have to think, Jason, that the injury to Chad Gable was the catalyst for this career resurgence of both guys, and it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. He doesn't get hurt, and none of this happens.
No, it's crazy. Sometimes an injury is the best thing to happen for all parties involved. Gangrene also with a 10. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. Let me read this one because this one came in here. I got to give the appropriate sound effect here. Let's see if I can find it. We got to give a round of applause. We got M Mills coming in here. Look at this. $150 super chat.
M Mills is awesome. And she's always coming in the clutch. No message, just showing love.
No.
M Mills, I hope you're having a great one. Thank you very much for being here for episode 150. She's awesome.
That's incredible. She shows up at the bar, she orders a drink for everybody, and then leaves. Love it. Thank you, M Mills. Gangrene with a 10. I also agree that Cody has gotten boring. If you're going to keep him as champ, he should be using that spot to elevate guys like Gargano or Hayes, who we know have potential to be good storytellers. Gargano, he says.
Gargano's been planking on television now for about 6 months.
Everybody watching Johnny Gargano wants to be Johnny Gargano, sleeping on the job.
And that was funnier than all of Sidro's jokes combined here. I mean, that Gargano would even be in that conversation. See, but you're forgetting one very important thing, though, about Cody. You're all disparaging Cody Rhodes. The only thing you need to remember about Cody Rhodes is that he is easy to find, hard to beat.
Yes.
There you go. Or as somebody said the other day in the live chat, when it comes to SmackDown is easy to find, hard to watch. Very true.
A truer statement hasn't been uttered ever. Yes. It's unbelievable. Joshua with a $50 super chat coming to us from Australia. JD Solo, happy 150. Here's to another 150. I'm banging the drum for Chad Gable to unify the world titles. Make it happen, Hunter. Chad Gable, of all people, to unify the titles, man. You guys are crazy. I would love it. Let's start with the IC title first. Let's take baby steps. Sean Waters with a $5 super chat here. Congrats on 150. Been listening to Solomonster since 2013 and grateful for introducing me to you, JD. Love your guys' passion. Sean, that means a lot, brother. Thank you so much.
Sean's a good one.
Tete with a $4.99. Do you have, what does this say? Do you have any of you think that TNA is getting sold to WWE or any company? Yes. When WWE sees fit to swoop in and buy the company, they will.
Yeah, not any time in the near future, but eventually it's inevitably going to happen.
We have, let's see. We got quite a few tonight. You guys killed it tonight. I appreciate you guys very much. Derek with the $2 super chat. Are TNA wrestlers leaving because of Silva? How do you think they are? You think he has a part in that?
Yeah, I do. In some cases, yes.
Bossmo Jackson with the $4.99. I saw the He-Man movie twice last week. Gave it an 8 out of 10. Did you guys watch it? And what are your thoughts, criticisms, favorite moments for the movie? Well, I can't speak on this. Jason did see it.
I did. I rated it 4 because I have a Letterboxd account. People were like, "Oh, you're seeing so many movies. You should start a Letterboxd account." So I did. Which is great because you could just sort of, it's easy now for me to kind of list out what movies I have seen, review them. I have a watch list of things coming up I want to see. So I gave it 4 stars, 4 out of 5 on there, which is not the highest rating I've given to a movie this year, but it's pretty high up there. And I enjoyed the movie very much. The only part I did not like was Alison Brie as Evelyn. I just did not like the character. I don't know, the way it was portrayed in the movie. She's a good actress. You know, I first saw her probably on Glow when she was on there, but not a fan of that character in the movie. Otherwise, good action, some good humor, some corny jokes. Surprisingly, a lot of adult language. More adult language than I would have expected.
Okay.
There is one point in the movie towards the end where Tila is having a conversation with Adam, with He-Man. And Cringer, the cat, right? Battle Cat. Cringer is in between them. She just flat out says pussy.
Okay.
I'm like,
okay.
Oh, okay. All right. And then after that, it was like pussy cat. But she's just like, oh, don't be a pussy. I'm like, Wow, boy, He-Man has really gone adult here in 2026. I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Kingdom Kid with a 499. Joe Hendry's gimmick is singing the Can We Fire Logan Paul song. With Logan hurt, he has no reason to be on the show. You know, you're actually correct. That's what this administration is all about, for sure.
Joe Hendry did say that he recorded a full album of new songs that is supposed to be released this summer.
Huh.
So that's one of the things that he's been busy doing. Of course, the question is, once the album comes out, will it sort of affect how often we see him on will we start seeing him on television? You would think so. But apparently there's a whole album that he's done, and now we just wait to find out when it gets released.
Didn't Elias put out a whole album?
He did. He came out with an album years ago called Universal Truth, and I made the joke on my stream at the time that Universal being one of the many titles that Elias will never hold. And in fact, he never did. I don't think he ever held any titles.
No.
Not one.
No. So we're following that same blueprint. That's really a recipe for success there for Joe Hendry.
Yeah.
Eric Beltran with a 499. Great stream, boys. Seems as Jason was right. Austin Theory ended up being a jobber for the Vision. Is he finished? Side notes, go Knicks.
He's not finished, but he's basically exactly where you would expect him to be.
And he will be.
He's in a better.
Yeah.
He's in a better position now than he was when he was hanging around Grayson Waller.
Sure. He'll be even worse off when Bronson Reed comes back.
Yeah.
There you go, Austin Theory. Chicago with it 2 months. Congratulations on 150. The best analysis, commentary, and takes, both hot and not, from the most subscribed to duo in the space. Thank you. I don't know if we're the most subscribed to, but I don't know. Who else is doing what we're doing? Not many. Survivor with a 699. Update on my membership message. Obsession was very good. 4 out of 5. There you go.
There it is. That's the only movie I've given 5 stars to this year.
Wow.
Look at that, Dave. Not 5 3/4, not 5.5. 5.
Well, what if you watched Obsession in the Tokyo Dome? Would that have made a difference?
Well, then it would be 7, but that's beside the point.
Okay. We got Noodles with a $50 mini bomb here. This is random, but it's been on my mind, JD, and I kind of feel bad about saying it. Looking back at the Attitude Era, is it safe to say that Mick Foley was a jobber? He hardly won matches. Reminds me of today's Miz. Love the show, by the way. I don't know. I never felt that Mick Foley was a jobber in the Attitude Era. Do you agree there?
No, I never felt that way. He lost a lot, but not once did I look at him and go, man, this guy's a jobber.
No.
Because he was always working with top guys.
I don't know how you could be a jobber and be the Undertaker's greatest feud of all time, but I don't know.
Well, in my opinion, his greatest rival of all time.
Yeah.
But also a 3-time world champion.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. I don't think of him as a jobber at all. Kill Switch, $2 Super Chat. Could you ever see Paul Heyman in AEW? No. Never. They have.
Why would he go to AEW? I mean, he's got it made in WWE, dude. Like, he's on air. He's got his own, group on air, and behind the scenes, he's obviously part of the creative team, and he wears a lot of hats behind the scenes and probably makes a shitload of money. So he's got no reason to leave.
Oh my goodness. Caden with a 199. Why couldn't Money in the Bank be in July? Just wondering. I don't know. I don't know what they got going on. They got no pay-per-view in July, just Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, they haven't announced like another Evolution show or anything. Right now, it's just Saturday night's main event on July 18th.
Hollywood guy with a $5 Super Chat. Can you guys see WWE releasing LA Knight? He needs a new character or something. Where is Sheamus? I just saw Sheamus, a picture of Sheamus on social media. He looks fucking great. Can't wait for him to get back. Could you see WWE releasing LA Knight? No, I can't.
Asking him to take a pay cut, sure, but not releasing.
No. Poindexter with a 12 months. Other than Oba, do y'all see any King of the Ring winner actually beating Roman or Cody for the title at SummerSlam? No.
Nope. Not unless, again, somebody ends up getting injured and then they slot somebody else in there, and then yes, I can see that.
Gonna have to do a lot if it's Randy Orton to get me interested. That's for sure. Don Stoney with a $5 super chat. Shout out to Don Tony, Wrestling Soup, Spitball Media, and as always, R.I.P. Kevin Castle. Those daytime streams difficult to join. Yeah, it's going to come to an end, bro. We're back to normal this week, and then we go back to the United Kingdom again into Night of Champions. So it's at least one more time before we go into the fall. I don't mind it for Monday Night Raw. It's easier for Raw. It's a little bit more harder for me on SmackDown. I just can't sit here and watch 3 hours of SmackDown in the afternoon. But I think we're navigating the NBA Finals the best that we can. I think we're fortunate enough that these streams are happening before the Finals because, the Finals are just fucking killing everything right now. Interest is dead everywhere except for the NBA. Furious Nation with the 499. What's up, JD Solo? So Zari is the new NXT North American champion. Does Tatum Paxley get called up to Raw and put with Lyra to lead Bayley turning heel? I don't know. I mean,
quite the idea. I don't know where you got that from.
Yeah, Tatum and Lyra have this weird friendship, dating back to their NXT days when Lyra was down there. I don't know. Do you see Tatum Paxley getting called up?
Right now, no.
No. Zarya finally won some championship gold. That's nice to see. Gavin Deeth with a $5 super chat. If it is MJF versus Omega at Redemption, then have a special referee in Mick Foley screw Omega. Tony Khan can have his Montreal screw job.
Oh my God! Please no. Can we not?
That's quite the idea, Gavin. But no.
Can we not?
Furious with a $4.99. Also, shout out to Kathy Kelly earlier on CVV, coming from someone with autism. To me, autism is like a gift and makes you stand out, not a weakness. I didn't watch the interview yet. I didn't listen to the interview, and I got to listen to it. I did see the headline for that, though.
Actually, to go back to that last super chat, that would actually make sense if Omega was going to win the belt, if Foley was the guest referee and counted the fall for Omega, and then if they wanted to do something with MJF and Foley at All In.
Yeah, let's get creative. If you're going to make it happen, let's make it creative. Major Emotions with a $4.99. I hate how Jey Uso is supposed to be heel at the moment, but then comes to the ring yeeting and running it back like he's a babyface. Yeah, to be fair, we haven't run it back in a while, so it was less egregious yesterday, but LA Knight promptly put a stop to that, saying, "You want me to stand here during this garbage?" So that was nice. Nate TV with a $5 super chat. Hey, my OTS family, TNT is the place to be, and I'm blessed to have TNT on my birthday as I turn years old. Can I have a birthday shout out? Well, Nate, happy birthday. I don't know how old you are, but if you're having a cold beverage, whether it's alcoholic or non-alcoholic, enjoy. Jericho 8131 with a $10 super chat. Since Sami's popularity is heavier outside of the United States, they should go the 97 Bret Hart route and make him a heel that abandons the U.S. fan base and only acknowledges international fans.
All of his ride or die fans.
It's not the worst idea, honestly.
No, I don't hate it.
Justin Toner with a $10 super chat. Congrats, guys, on 150. On NXT, Kendall Gray and Evil. How do you pronounce his name on NXT? Nakaru?
No.
Nakaru?
Hold on. Let me see the exact spelling of it. I thought it was Naruto. Hold on. I don't want to say it wrong. So let me look it up. It is Narak. I think it's Naraku. Well, let me.
Naraku.
So Naraku. Yes, Naraku.
Okay, Naraku. Kendall Gray and Naraku earned title shots against Lola and Tony D at Bash, and Zarya beat Tatum to win the North American title. Will Kendall finally win the title? I don't know. You predicted that. What did you predict going into Stand and Deliver? That she wasn't going to win it, or she was going to win it?
She was going to win it.
Lola won it.
Yeah.
Do you think Kendall's going to win it from Lola now? Is it time?
I thought they held off on it on New Year's or I said hold off on it on New Year's Evil because I think she had a shot at New Year's Evil.
Yes.
And then pull the trigger at Stand and Deliver, and they didn't. So Lola's had it now for what since Stand and Deliver was the beginning of April, I think, right? When are they doing the match with her and Kendall?
That is Bash. I'm assuming that's happening.
28th.
Yeah. I say Belter. If there's anybody that I feel gets called up, it's Lola. She's been there forever.
Yeah, I think this is probably the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought April would be the time, but now they could do it now.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Jericho. Furious with 199. So here's Vince's new finisher, the money shot. Well, he's, I don't know if it's the money shot. He's got several shots he could be referencing to there. Shadow Maniac with a $5 super chat. What games from these showcases are you excited about? Congrats on 150. Me personally, Kingdom Hearts 4, Final Fantasy 7. I am excited for Resident Evil Code Veronica. They're redoing that remake. That's going to be great. And I just found out today they're remaking Zelda Ocarina of Time for the Nintendo Switch 2. That is tremendous.
I did hear that.
That is a day one pickup for sure. God of War looks good. I don't necessarily think we should call it God of War if we're not playing as Kratos, but all the outrage on social media was nonsense in my opinion. If the story is good and the combat's good, you're not going to get a fucking complaint out of me. So we'll see what happens with that. But thank you, Shadow Maniac. Toya ain't nice with a $5 super chat. Tuesday Night Titans, she says, you need to find hard to beat. Yeah, these days were hard to find. I don't know. Everybody's off doing something else. It's the summertime. They don't want to be watching us. Thank you, Toya. M. Mills, again, thank you again for the 150 in Super Chats. Furious with a $4.99 and a $4.99. Mike Santana and Leon Slater, possibly WWE bound. Who would you like to see TNA replenish those spots with? If Cody were to go heel, a risk worth it, and I wouldn't hate it. And no, I don't think it would be because of Rock. Maybe KO involved as well. Who do they replenish those spots with Santana and Leon Slater? Any ideas, Jason?
Well, I mean, I think I talked about this earlier. You know, I mentioned moving Ali up a little bit higher and really focusing on Ricky Sosa, you know, who I think could be a big deal for them. So those are now they could also do more with Trey Miguel if they want to. But for me, Ali and Sosa are two guys that they could build around as part of their nucleus.
Yep. They should really bank everything on Ricky Sosa, honestly. There's not many out there that they could pick up and really... I know you mentioned Holiday. Why he hasn't been picked up, I don't know, but...
Yeah, I don't know.
Guys like that, they really should be building around for sure. Also, with the 199, Furious says, favorite JBL ECW one-night stand heat, 05 or 06? Oh, 05, absolutely.
05.
Yeah.
Up in the balcony?
Yeah. Jedi Joker with a $5 super chat. I went to see Scary Movie 6 today. I liked it, but it could have been better. A lot of forced comedy that got old quick. No spoilers, but I hope this is it. Yeah, I honestly, I didn't even know they were making a movie until I saw the commercial like 2 weeks ago, and the commercial wasn't even funny.
And they did really big business at the box office. A hell of a lot better than Masters of the Universe. So you're going to get a Scary Movie 7 and a Scary Movie 8, I'm sure.
That's crazy. Major emotions with the 499. Between the injuries and the failed vision, Breakker feels like a boring mid-carder. So much for the future WrestleMania main event. That spot is for Oba now. Yeah, Oba's resurgence definitely has affected Bron Breakker. The injury also didn't help him, but I'm not concerned about his standing in the company. I don't know how you feel about him. I think the injury, Jason, has made him a little wonky in the ring. He's not as crisp as he was before the injury.
He's going to be fine though.
Yeah.
You know, he's still going to be, you know, he I don't know. I don't want to say like he's their guy. Maybe it's Oba, but he's going to be one of the top 3 or 4 names that really help carry this company. I mean, I don't see any other way around it. They've been preparing him for that spot now for years.
Yeah. We got JD from Paris, 206, $5 super chat. Hi, JD and guy walking to the Eiffel Tower. Solo, are you going to finish that croissant? If not, I'll take it. That's mine now. I'm easy to find.
Easy to find, hard to eat.
Oh, my goodness, man. Thank you. Yo, boy Pete with a $4.99. Just got back from Scary Movie. Not as good as the originals, but still pretty good. Now time for TNT. Thank you, yo, boy Pete. Major Motions, thank you. Tay with a $4.99. Better video game showcase. Nintendo, Xbox, or PlayStation? PlayStation. And we got this last one from Alex, $5 super chat. Brother JD and Solo, buy, rent, sell on the dream match you would have wanted to see. Sting vs. Taker, Austin vs. Punk, or AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels?
Austin Punk.
Yes. In their prime, yes.
Yes, and then after that, probably Shawn AJ.
I agree. Out of the three, yes, I'm gonna definitely rent on AJ Shawn and honestly sell on Taker versus Sting, which also should have happened. That would have been great, but in that same order for me too. Thank you, Alex, and thank you everybody. You guys killed it with the super chats tonight on this Tuesday night. Thank you very much, and let's try and get those thumbs up. And we need another 170. I know we'll get there, but before we get out of here, let's see if we can get as close to 1,000 as possible. Again, thank you guys very much. We will be live next Tuesday for episode 151, now on the road to 200. Follow us on social media. You know where to find Jason. Everything for him is linked down below in the description. You guys know where to find me. We'll be live for Dynamite tomorrow, the summer blockbuster on the way to Forbidden Door. And I'm going to leave it with this guy to sound us off for another great week of TNT.
Yeah, I just wrapped up this past weekend, episode 966 of The Sound Off. I would like, though, to very quickly play a little clip for you that I came across from episode 601 of The Sound Off, where I talked about this guy right here. All I know is that JD picked a song. He didn't tell me what it was. He picked a song during karaoke. He told me I had to sing it with him. Oh my God. And this motherfucker, of all the songs, picked Ba with the Ba by Kid Rock. And he gave me the chorus parts. And he took all of the normal lyrics. Because of course he did. May he enjoy an eternity of Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin Iron Man matches in his nightmares every time his head hits the pillow.
Oh, man. I remember like it was yesterday, man.
I haven't forgotten about it.
I know. You're never going to let me live that one down, man. That was with Brian Zayn. I don't know where the fuck we were, man, but...
Vegas. Was it Vegas?
We were Vegas, but I don't know where exactly we were. We were all kind of shit-faced, but what possessed me to pick that song, man? It was either that or Enter Sandman, but I'm like... Yeah. You got to know this song, man. This is a cool song. Let's do this one.
That one would have been better.
Oh, man. That's those are the days, man. Hopefully we can recreate that with a much better song in 2026, but we'll see when that day comes.
Sounds so young in that clip.
I know you did. I mean, listen, you said it last week. We're a lot better now than we were then, so I'm going to attribute to that, so... Thank you guys very much, man. We will see you next week right back here for more on Tuesday Night Titans. Thank you again for all the supports. I got the wrong fucking venue. Where am I? I got the beer garden up. Whatever. It's summertime. Thank you guys very much. Again, have a great night. Go Knicks, and we'll see you next week right here on Tuesday night with episode 151.